drunk at the hilly. I can't PD and I can't find my willy. I'm just here for a little attention. Yeah, I got severe hypertension. So why you trying to get to know a higgy better? Can't and whores, Bella's mom and Schmarietta. I don't know, I'll give it a go. ATF's big show, I ain't no hoe. I don't need a new man with a double D rack. Never mind, higgy, your game is whack. You're the whacker to my weed. Your game is whack. I'm not trying to hear that, see? I'm not one of the girls trying to get locked down. Prince Higgy, baby, Jameson crown. I get down with the hilly low comp ticket. 16 whiskeys is how I kick it. And you get excited for a midnight snack. I already told you, your game is whack. You're the whacker to my weed. Your game is whack. I'm not trying to hear that, see? Your game is whack. You're the whacker to my weed. Your game is whack. I'm not trying to hear that. I like sleeping alone. This won't go all night. A little needy and strange. It's true love at first sight. I'm the real deal. I do what I gotta do. From the rip, my whole heart's for you. Your whole heart is not for me. Not a half, not a quarter, not a clog, not a re. You know what's the problem? You're trouble and you're hot. I'm big, thick neck daddy Higgy. He's not. I got a question, not to be rude. Are you queer? Cause you keep calling me dude. Are you glad that you have walked me out? No self-doubt and you didn't cop out. No last words, I'll just mutter abide. Don't diss the caterpillar and sweat the butterfly. All of them girls must have got you gas. And when they see a good thing, they don't triple bypass. Well, for this town, that's right on track. Cause for me, your game's too whack. You're the whacker to my weed. Your game is whack. I'm not trying to hear that, see? Game is whack. You're the whacker to my weed. Your game is whack. I'm not trying to hear that. What am I? Another pretty face getting you a drink from my military base? All I gotta know is why did you use me? You talking? Psh, excuse me. We can't have nothing. You wear depends. Well, if we ain't getting married, then we can't be friends. Well, then I guess it's nothing. Well, hey, I think you're puffing. Well, pass that weed. I won't weed whack nothing. You better catch a flashback. Remember, you ain't tapping it. You ain't my style, and I'm not having it. All I remember from that late night kiss is I'm more the mister, you're more the miss. Well, look, I treat you good. Treat yourself better. And I always call my mom. Write her a love letter. I greet you every day with a martini at the door. You won't last a year, you're overgrown bed sore. Well, I'm known in this town, and now that's a piss. I got no one to blame but myself and Melissa. You didn't answer me, Karen. Am I a good kisser? Don't remember, had a lot of Hennessy. A lot of girls out there that won't say no. The ones you take to your crib with 𝗫𝗄𝗃. Boom, now all my feelings is getting fatter. All I want.
My name is Aidan Kearney, also known as Turtleboy.
He is a senior editor for Turtleboy Daily News.
I'm a big fan.
We've broken hundreds of stories that the mainstream media won't touch.
Some blogger in Massachusetts who's getting to the bottom of this better than anybody.
Why is it Turtleboy that is covering such important issues? Where is the rest of the media?
You need to not say that you were gonna take my baby out of revenge and make him a transgender baby.
Stop it.
Don't you want to ask some questions? I know you do.
I do. I know.
People don't like the things that I say and want me to stop saying them, but I won't. I'm never gonna stop. These are the kind of stories that must be told.
And I will not be intimidated. I will not be silenced. And we will continue on our journey for justice for John O'Keefe and for Karen Reed.
Tick, tick, boom. Noise. Go, baby, we bringing out toys. Boys, chop up the singing, should be on the voice. Bang, bang, we gon' ride out. Gang, gang, we don't die out. Want it like this, ain't no timeouts. Tell me who really gon' find out.
We be disturbing the peace, working, we serving the streets.
Karen Reed has supporters who've shown up in large numbers.
Tick, tick, boom.
Hard body, and not scaring nobody. You make me resort to wild, and you must be blind by the diamonds. I didn't want it to be this way, but y'all won't need to try this, so it's no way around it. You the loudest one, it's going quiet. We be disturbing the peace, working, we serving the streets. About to go going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep.
This is the first time I think I've ever seen this. An outpouring of support for someone accused of murdering a Boston police officer. Unbelievable situation. Never seen anything like it.
Tick, tick, boom.
You don't care.
can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me? You can't stop me, so who gon' stop me?
We be disturbing the peace. Working, we serving the streets. About to go ahead, going beast. Bang, bang, leave you sleep. It's go, 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 go time.
Tick, tick, boom.
Boom. What's up, people? How's everyone doing tonight? Good? Good. Excellent. Welcome to the live show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host. My name is Aidan Kearney, if you're new here. If you're not new here, you probably know that already. You can call me a variety of nicknames. You can call me Uncle Turtleboy. You can call me Dr. Turtleboy. It's actually my preferred pronoun. You can call me Daddy, which I can understand for some people is a little bit strange, but for others, it might be a little bit fun. Who knows? You know, you can call me Timothy Kearney. That's my true crime name. That works too. When I'm in the woods with my leather jacket on, solving mysteries, deep in my thoughts. Or you can call me Journalism Jesus if you prefer. I don't care what you call me. Just make sure you smash that subscribe button and tune in every Tuesday and Saturday night at 9 p.m. We've been going live every day during the trial, but, you know, trial's coming to an end. It almost ended today. It should have ended today. Obviously, it didn't because Beverly Cannoni loves attention, I think. She's like addicted to it. So, yeah, the trial did not end today for that reason. But, hold on one second. I was going to take this out. Yeah, we're still doing this. Anyway, yeah, I think we're up to 100. I just checked how many subs we got. We're up to 138,279. We're getting close to 140. Can we get 140? We just need, I mean, how many people are watching right now on YouTube? We got 6,200 people watching on YouTube. If 721 of you haven't hit the subscribe button, that would help out. You know, it doesn't cost nothing. You can get to 139 by tonight. And just like that, we're up to 138,305. Just like that. Come on, we can get there. I gained like 3,000 or 4,000 Twitter followers today. That was pretty cool too. I guess something busy must have been going on at the courthouse. It was a crazy day. We're going to get to all that. And I do have a special guest, Jessica Machado. We're going to be bringing on in just a moment. Just want to get this started. If anybody wants to have their messages read out loud to the class tonight, you can click on the link at the top of the chat for Turtle Chat. I think it's at the top. Is it at the top of the chat? Did I not set that up? Okay, hold on. Hold on. I got to set it up. I got to put it up there. Hold on one sec. Hold on. I got to get another episode. I forgot to put it on there. That's my fault. I set up the show too late tonight. Give me one sec. Just grab this. Live. This one. And there it is. Turtle Chat. There we go. Turtle Chat. All right, let me pin that to the top. Hold on. Chat's moving too fast. Okay. Pin message. There we go. All right. Now it's pinned to the top. So you can click on that, write whatever message you want. And then I will read it out loud to the class when I get it. Just keep it. No centigraphs, please. Keep it nice, sweet, and short. Or you can cash at me, guys, at $Uncle Turtleboy. Okay. But yeah. Anyway, what else was I going to say? Yeah, that's about it. So I'm going to save the turtle chats for the end of the show tonight. Because I don't like doing it when I have guests on. I don't want to be like, oh, look at all this money I'm making. Check it out. And I sit there and listen to me make money. So I think that's kind of rude. So we'll save that towards the end, but I will read them all. All right. So I'm going to bring on my guest right now. You guys might know her. She's an independent reporter. She used to work at Fall River Reporter. Actually, last trial she was covering for them. Now she does her own thing. She's got a Substack, and she's picked up quite a following, quite frankly, during this whole thing. She was, don't know how many followers she was at last year, but now she's at like 40,000, I think, on Twitter. She's getting up there. So she's moving up in the game. A lot of people are. I don't know if we're qualifying her as a grifter yet, if she's joined the Grifter United. Certainly I'm like King Grifter. And then there's other grifters like Mike Crawford, Will, BLT, Betterow, obviously. But I think Jess has earned her grifting wings. So we're going to bring her on now. Hello. How are you, bestie?
Hi, bestie. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
I would prefer to be mentioned as a grifter. Yes, I like the title. Happily, let's do it. Yes.
Welcome to the big leagues. Welcome to the big leagues.
Thanks, bestie.
So yeah, so let's talk about what happened in court today. Not much, obviously. I mean, a lot, but nothing ultimately happened. What are your thoughts about what happened today?
I think it was very anticlimactic. I think when we heard the jury question, I know you want to talk about it, but like you heard the jury questions, it sounded great. Everybody got really excited. My phone was blowing up. People were like, I'm heading down. We're going to get a verdict today. The crowd doubled in size from the morning. It was a big letdown, unfortunately. But I think we all get very emotional and we've got to like stay the course. It's not a bad thing. Nobody should be interpreting it as bad. It's just, it was a little bit of a letdown, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, these words you're using, anticlimactic, letdown, it sounds like Hank Brennan's sex life, quite frankly. But
oh my God, he loves you. That picture of you has me dying, by the way. Those are Pulitzer Prize winning photos of him looking at you on the courthouse steps today.
Yeah, I can't take credit for those. Those came from Twitter user, the Alabama guy, Wade. I don't even know. I know so many people on Twitter. I feel like I know them, but I really don't know them at all. Like this is Wade from Alabama. I don't even know who that is, but we talk on Twitter like we're boys. So this was the pictures that he took out there. Like, bro, look at this. He's so mad. Well, he's so mad. Look at him. He just disapproves. This is obviously part of a wider picture, but he's like lurking there. I didn't even notice he was there. And just what he's so mad about it. He did not have a good day. He hasn't had a good couple of weeks. And today was not good for Hank Brennan today. And so let's talk about that. So if you guys didn't see, Auntie Bev came back today and had some questions. Let me pull up the stream of this so we can get the actual verbiage, that she used. And by the way, while we're here, I just wanted to thank you publicly for what you did for me last week in allowing me to use the pass on to me to get into the courtroom for closing statements. I really appreciate that.
I don't know why nobody else offered it to you, to be honest with you. Like, if it weren't for you, I don't think anybody would even be there, whether it's the bigger reporters or the smaller. This story really started with your coverage of it. And it felt like everybody's like making a big deal out of it. It was so easy to do. It was like, he needs to be in there. So happy to do it. Happy.
Well, I don't think most people would do it. That's what makes it so cool is most people wouldn't do that. Others, in fairness, like people like Sue can't do it because NBC allots her a pass. And she's not. It's NBC's pass. You know what I mean? At least that's what she says. I don't know. Right. But either way, I was happy to get in there, and I wish you could have been there too. And I wish Ted Daniel could have been there. He's missed like the whole trial, and he's been here.
They shafted him.
News Nation.
We talked about it today too. We asked if they were going to let us in like for the verdict because they did that last year, and I advocated for it, but. He did too. He said he talked to them today and they were not having it. So no extras. It's just the guys that are in there now. You guys.
That's so wrong.
Yeah. Where is Jen Donahue? We haven't seen her at all.
Yeah.
She doesn't care.
It's horrible. This new system, the system worked better last year when it was like a free for all with chairs. At least the right 10 people.
Speak for yourself.
But you got in every day, and I had people save you chairs. It worked out.
It's true, but I had to get accosted by Grant to really kind of seal the deal that last week.
Took one for the team, But that was chaos in the line until you got that restraining order, and then it was just problem solved after that. The same 10 people got in every day, the right 10 people who were most covering this case from the beginning. Now it's like I don't even know some of these people are in there. Like I don't even know who these people are.
I know. It stinks.
So, but yeah, so so we get there and let me pull she does her usual thing, telling people, the jury, to go and deliberate. And then the excitement of the day was when we find out that there is a jury question. And on the third day last year, this is when they first had a question, except their question was, can we look at the CERT team report? And Auntie Bev's answer was, go fuck yourself. There is no CERT team report. So you'll just have to take whatever their word is for it, that they found a whole bunch of taillight there. But that told us they were talking about taillight, and they were talking about like the logistics to get the taillight. Like that's obviously what they were discussing. And so like it's very exciting. You get a lot of insight into what they're talking about, because there's thousands of people out there, hundreds. I think there's probably over 1,000 people. And everybody outside is just on pins and needles and watching this. And there's millions of people worldwide who are watching this too, who are just waiting on this verdict. And there's 12 random people who admittedly didn't follow any of this shit who get to decide. They get like these 12 random people, and they're in a room, and you literally have no idea what they're talking about. And I mean, based on what Ronnie told me in my exit interview, no idea what they're talking about. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like,
yeah, I mean, we say all the time, like we're predicting and everybody's talking. And I think that's just like self-soothing mechanisms for us. Like we want to talk ourselves through like this very traumatic situation that we're in, which is what are we going to get as a verdict? But we have absolutely no idea. And we learned, I mean, I'll never forget, like we thought everything with 𝗪𝗏𝗏 was the biggest part of the trial and the testimony. And we found out the jurors didn't really consider that at all. So, yeah, but I always think that they're like one of us, though. Everybody in that room, those 12 people are 12 people just like the people outside across the street to me. They're no different than that makeup and that demographic of all of those people. So I have to believe that they're thinking the way that we're thinking.
What do you think of the jury, just the way they look? What do you think of it? You've seen the same people I have. And you know who the 12
I'm excited for this jury. I'm excited. Yeah. I'm very happy with this jury. There are 3 people on there that I, had my fingers crossed I hoped would get on. That's 𝗫𝗏𝗃, and then 𝗫𝗏𝗃 juror in the back.
Number 5.
Yeah. In the front row, the second one in. So the one that's pregnant.
Number 10.
And then 11, I guess, is what you would call the one next to her.
Yeah.
So those 3 were my take, right? You like them too?
Those are my top 3 as well. Definitely. And then I like juror 13, who is the 4th. He was the one with the wooden clipboard, and he was the first one who was made an alternate. So he's my top guy. That was But some underrated jurors. I think one that I had underrated was juror number 4, who was the young man who had his seat moved. He was sitting next to the pregnant girl, and then they moved him to the back row. I think I like him now. I wasn't that big on him early on, but I think I like him now. He was looking at me today. Like it was for the first time, the jurors looked at us. Like I never made eye contact with any of these people before. They never looked at the media. They always looked at the witness or Hank or Auntie Bev, right or left. They never looked at the media, I noticed. And today, when they came back, they were looking at us, especially there's one juror who looks like Jess Machado. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. She was like looking at me in a good way. And then there was another one, the kid that had his seat moved. He took his his little paper up. And he's like looking at me, and he starts whispering, so I can't see what he's saying to number 3 next to him. What do you think of that third juror? How would you know who I'm talking about? He looks weird.
I do. I call him doll face. His face is like perfectly round and no expression.
Yeah.
So I was really concerned about him. However, I had a unique opportunity to observe him outside the courtroom. He was coming in and getting checked in a couple of weeks ago. They put us in that front courtroom one, and they closed the door and it's got a glass window. And they were coming through security there. So I don't know why. Sometimes they bring them to the front, and I was able to observe him like in his natural element, smiling, laughing, talking. So he, to me, that shows that he's really restraining himself with facial expressions the whole time, because you didn't see him make anything. I never saw him react at all, but he's capable of it because I've seen it. So he's a big question mark for me. I'm a little, I don't know. I can't read him.
During like the second week of the trial, he was called up to the bench too by Auntie Bev for something. We don't know what for. So I don't know what his was on, but he was the first juror who was like called up, obviously some sort of issue, or else she wouldn't have brought him up there like that. So that was interesting. So yeah, so
I need to know what you saw with the foreman smiling at the reads, because that threw me, because as you know, he has made zero expression whatsoever. I've never seen him move.
He's the most interesting person on the jury, I think. Like, he's just wild. He came in today, like the whole he's got dreadlocks. So the whole trial, his hair has been in, like, he wears like a do-rag, right? Like, or something, he holds the hair in. He's letting it loose now. His braids go down to his ass now. And he's like a big, burly black man, like strong, like bull. Like, he's a big boy. And he wears like his big ass gold chain, and he had like a designer t-shirt on today, like that, in jeans. Like, a lot of the people are asking me, what are the jurors wearing? Like, that's like the new hot question. It's like, what are they wearing? Because there's this thing that, like, if they're getting dressed up, right, that, oh, they must think they're going to be on camera. The women were pretty well dressed today, I thought, but the men didn't, especially juror 4. He dresses like he just got out of bed. The other kid, the kid that looks like a frat boy in the front, like, how would you describe him? Like juror number 6.
He looks like someone who'd be friends with my daughter who just graduated college.
Really? Okay. Oh, no, not 6. He was juror number 14. Yeah. Like yeah, right. He looks young, right? Like that young.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I worry about him because I always envisioned that the one that you liked, the one next to him with the clipboard that took a lot of notes, I always envisioned that when they went to deliberations, if they were together, that they would kind of bond. Like that one was maybe 10 or 15 years older than him. You know what I mean? They kind of resembled each other style-wise. And now I wonder, like, who would that younger juror kind of like attach himself to? I thought that they would be bros like in the deliberations, but that guy didn't make it in. So I kind of feel like worried for him. He's all alone in there because he looks like the youngest or one of the 2 youngest on the jury.
Either him or the other kid, number 4. One of those 2 is the youngest. And the other one, oh yeah. So back to the foreman. Yeah, he came in and he never shows expressions. Like he looked at the ring. I don't even know if they saw it, but he smiled. It was interesting. Like, I made sure to watch their reactions when they came in. And we knew that they had questions, and we're like, okay, we're just viewing them differently now. And how are they going to carry themselves? And the way they were looking at me and the reads, it just looked like they knew that they thought that they were going to be on TV after this, that the media's going to be looking at us soon. We're about to make this huge consequential decision. It looked like they had made their minds up. Like, that's the best way to describe it. And let's be honest, they have made their minds up. I think we found out today, almost unequivocally, that these 12 jurors have determined and are no longer debating the fact that John O'Keefe was not hit by a car, right?
Right.
Doesn't seem to be something.
I mean, I think that it was a very, I'm trying to talk myself out of it, aren't you though? Like, I'm thinking like, okay, this seems very telling. They're already down at the bottom here. They're all set with the top. I mean, I don't know. It was a weird cluster of questions too. I don't think they all kind of coordinated. So I have this idea in my head that they said, let's not go and ask every question right away. Maybe one came up first and they said, let's hold on to it. And then we'll kind of cluster them together and then go in and ask at once rather than kind of go up for every question. Like if that were me and I would be in there, I'd be like, well, let's wait and see if we got another question or another one. So I don't know if they actually all organically came at the same time. They know what it's like to go up and down those stairs all the time, not necessarily up and down the stairs, but to deliberate or to be pushed out, come back, deliberate, push. I don't know if they want to do that. So I don't know. All three of those questions didn't necessarily make sense to me at the same time, but
let's listen to them. Let's go and listen to what these questions are. Let's pull them up right there. All right, hold on.
Said they have to be read hand in hand.
So by the way, when they came in, I don't know if you saw this, like this was, I'm like, what is going on here? So the first thing I see is that David Yannetti says something. Oops. David Yannetti says something to Karen Reed's parents, and others observed, like Christina Rex observed this. I didn't observe that. I was just told that this happened. I didn't see this. But I was told that they were seemed like they were crying. Whatever David Yannetti told the Reed parents, they were like almost crying. And so I get in there and I start, I see Karen's team is like furiously, let me see if they're passing notes back and forth. Okay. So then I'll show you when I enter there in the eye contact. They're all talking. She's going nuts. And she's talking, and I'm kind of in the back there. I'm like lingering back there. And Karen looked at me one time, and she had like the biggest smile I've ever seen. And I'm like, okay, something good is happening here. Like whatever it was, they were in a state of like, not panic, but like, holy shit, something big had just happened. And they're writing shit down. They're passing notes back and forth, whatever they're doing. And somebody heard on a hot mic, I don't know if you heard this, that 𝗚𝗏𝗄𝐿 said, like, I can't do this again. Did you hear that?
I heard it was Jackson that said, I can't do this again, Bob. That's what I saw.
Okay,
again,
I didn't hear it. So I didn't hear what it was. But let's see. Alan looks frustrated there. So they're looking at I assume they're talking about the questions here and the implications of the questions.
Please take your seats.
Okay.
And come back.
Thank you.
So they appeared on note cards, so that I don't know what order they came in, but this is the order I got them. This is the order I'm going to read them. What is the time frame for the OUI charge? Offense 002, Section 5. OUI at 12:45 or OUI at 5 a.m.?
So that's the first one. So OUI at, what is the, let me hear, she phrases that again. Hold on.
Again, what is the time frame for the OUI charge?
The time
Offense 002, Section.
The time frame for the OUI charge, 12:45,
Right.
5 a.m. What are your thoughts on that one?
I'm surprised that this was a question. I thought it was pretty clear. If we're talking about John's death, would it not be the 12:55? Why are we even talking? But I guess that is confusing I mean, were you not surprised that this was a question that they came back with? Of all things that they're asking that question, it was a little surprising to me.
It was a great question because all three questions only apply to DUI. All of them. All three of them apply to DUI. And I'm like, oh, they're talking about DUI, especially the third question, which we'll get to, which was like the best one. And so this one's like, they're talking about that they're weighing the DUI. Like that's what they're confused about. And they're like, well, are we convicting her for driving at 12:45 or are we convicting her for driving at 5 o'clock? And I don't even think they know the answer to that. I don't even think Auntie Bet, because this was not even something that anyone was thinking about going in there. Keep in mind, the Reed team threw in that whole DUI thing at the last minute as a maneuver, a calculation, right? It was a risk that they were taking. But they were thinking, they got a lot of juror feedback from the last trial. And that juror feedback was that people in that room felt like they owed it to the O'Keefe family to throw them a bone and convict Karen Reed on something, because apparently that's how they think the American justice system works, where you just throw people bones. So they were like, well,
right.
If you're going to have a bone, how about this bone over here? Because this bone doesn't hurt her very much. This bone, a lot of people have this bone, you know, a lot of people get DUIs. It's not that big. You shouldn't do it if it's not that big a deal. and you shouldn't go to jail for it, right? She would look horrible if she sent her to jail. So they're like almost begging her, like, if you feel inclined to do something, why don't you do this thing over here, and then you can feel better about yourselves. And I
can't imagine that's a good consolation prize for them. How could you go to bed at night and saying, well, at least she got convicted of a DUI? I mean, they're a dime a dozen, to be honest with you. And with no criminal record, what is she going to get? She's going to have to take a class. I mean, I can't see in the parameters of justice for JJ. There's no justice there. I think it's a slap in the face to them and what they wanted. So in that framework of a consolation or throwing them a bone, I don't think it's a good one. Not me.
Good for who? You don't think it's good for who?
I don't think it's good for anybody. I don't think Peggy O'Keefe is going to feel like any bit of justice was served. Like, it's just, I mean, look at Karen. If you're saying that's true, that she's smiling, right? And she's feeling good about this. I mean, I just don't think it's going to have the value that they think it has. How are you going to, I tried to fast forward through thinking about this like a year from now. Like, who's going to be okay with saying like, oh, that she got the OUI? You know what I mean? Like, it's not even, it doesn't make any sense.
Karen's okay with that.
Right.
I mean, wouldn't she be okay with that? Like, if that's the worst thing that happens to her, she's feeling pretty good about it. And I think that Karen Reed is sleeping a lot better tonight than she did last night and the night before, because now she goes to bed with the knowledge that the 12 people who decide her fate do not believe that she hit John O'Keefe with her car. And so that's a huge thing. That's kind of at least that's what I took today, you know. But
will the verdict slip be filled out properly? You know what I mean? Like, we understand the notion and maybe how they're feeling, but is it going to be filled out properly?
We'll get to that. So with this question, like, so at 12:45, it's a weird, they picked that time. The only thing that happened at 12:45 is that's the time that Jennifer McCabe says that she looked outside and she saw Karen Reed's car there, because she's home at 12:36. So she's not even driving at 12:45. And so I get what the argument is. Like, it is easier for them to believe that Karen Reed, beyond a reasonable doubt, that Karen Reed was drunk over the limit at 12:45 than I think they meant 12:30, but like then 5 o'clock. Right? That, because you could sober up by 5 o'clock, right? You could. It's five hours. You didn't drink anything.
Right.
So there is no evidence. Like, so if they come back and say, okay, actually 5, so that's actually a very relevant question. And it shows how deep into the woods they are on the DUI issue, right? That they're just we're all wondering what the fuck they're talking about in this room. Are they talking about the tail light? Are they talking about this and this? Are they discussing whether or not Karen Reed could have done this? Well, no, it turns out they're talking about what time the DUI took place, which is a great thing for Karen Reed's team if that's all they're talking about. Like, that had to be the biggest relief. Oh, that's what you guys are talking about? Thank fucking God. Right? Wouldn't, like, that would be a huge relief. No?
I guess my question is, yes, if that's the only thing they're talking about, but then why did they need so much more time today? You know what I mean? Like, if that's the end game and where they were at, took a lot more time to get through that today. I agree, but I'm playing the pessimist here, which is maybe that's just one nugget of what they're talking about. What else are they trying to work through? I thought with what you're saying, yes, that makes sense. But then that's why I expected them to come back sooner. And then they took the rest of the day and it's still nothing.
Well, that's the $1 million question. And that's what the trolls are saying too. Because today was a really, 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 really bad day for the trolls. Okay. We had people like, Carrie Lama and 𝗀𝗄𝗄, and you had Julie Carpenter, all the big trolls, right? Who threw in the towel today after this. They were like, oh, she's going to walk. She's going to get away with it. I mean, that's what they say. You're going to get away with it. Oh, yeah. Let's go check out some 𝗀𝗄𝗄. Time for some 𝗀𝗄𝗄. Let's go check out. We'll start with Julie Carpenter. She's a good 𝗀𝗄𝗄. Big Red, we call her. Are you blocked by her?
I'm blocked.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Yeah, you're, of course. So Big Red is all mad about this today. Let's see. She said about, they're so mad about Vinnie Politan too. We can get to that. Let's see. She replied to a Carrie Lama tweet. Let's see. I missed that. Here it is. Okay. So this is 𝗬𝗏. And then she goes, and this is like Jess McCabe's best friend and is like the biggest like stand for the government. And she says that, in my opinion, not a good question earlier. Prepare for Karen Read to walk. As if y'all didn't already know, Massachusetts is full of lunatics. And so like they're all bracing themselves for this. They're like, oh, like when these people were convinced Karen Read is going down, and now they're like coming up with caveats about if she walks, blah, 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 blah. And even Julie Carpenter saying it and 𝗀്𝗏 saying it. Oh, they're talking about you too. They said that you were cruel.
Well, what is it?
Okay. So are you, so this chick weighs a metric ton. Her name is Krista Luna, I think. She's some morbidly obese land whale from South Carolina. And she's just vicious. And she's like, are you kidding me? The jury's decision will impact Karen Read supporters and Karen Read herself. But meh, just another day for the victim's family because, you know, he's gone. So, oh my fucking God, what an ignorant, cruel thing to say. So this is your tweet that she's quoting. And she says, you said, I am sitting here down on the first floor of Norfolk Superior Court, thinking that just above me in a room, there are people talking about something that you all care very much about in a way that is going to impact all of you in a very dramatic way. They're going to make a decision that changes the course of Karen Read's life. For the O'Keeffes, nothing will change that he is gone. This is just such a heavy day. So I don't see what's controversial about that.
I mean, the tone of that is like, no matter what, guilty or not guilty, it's not going to change that he's not here. You know what I mean? Like these people, I don't know. Look,
so
I
fake.
love that they go to my page. If they knew how much I love that, if they knew how much I love that they go to my page, look at my stuff, screenshot it, think of it, post it, they would never do it. I love it so much. I love this for me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Krista Gibbons is her name. Krista Gibbons.
Okay.
And so she, it's just so fake. Like they're not actually outraged about this. Like they don't actually think this is cool. I mean, they're friends with crusty panties. Like they don't, they don't, obviously there's no boundaries here or rules or anything like that. And so she says that for the O'Keeffes, you said that for the O'Keeffes, nothing will change, that he is gone. And I felt that way too, because it's like, if she's convicted, if she's convicted of DUI only, is that going to please the O'Keeffe family?
No.
It's a major loss.
And it's
right?
also not going to change. Like he is still not here. I mean, I was looking at that from like a very somber perspective. Like not my tone in my head wasn't the like nefarious thing that they're saying, like, oh, doesn't matter, nothing's going to change. It was more like no matter what happens in these outcomes, he's not coming back. And that's a somber reality for them. It's a heavy day. Like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about, but I mean, they have to think about the way that it was being said. And I'm very sensitive to the fact that there's somebody passed away. I mean, how many times do you get caught up in these days, moments, everything? I mean, I make money off of this. Like I get followers and it's like, you know, your soul has to be right about it because somebody did die because of this, you know? So like, I don't fuck with that. Like the vibe has to be right. We have to do it for the right, authentic reasons. And, you know, these are the people that don't do it for the right reasons. They do it to be trolls. They do it to be assholes. They do it like to be a part of some sort of a group because they don't have real friends. So like they get to be a part of a group that are just like nasty humans. So yeah, I'm not about that. I mean, I'm sensitive to the fact that somebody died here, but I'm also like, you know, a realist. I understand everything surrounding this, like you and everybody else. So.
I mean, I obviously got what you're saying. It's like, so if Karen Read is convicted of OUI, that's not going to make the O'Keeffes feel better. So what are we even doing here? Whereas if Karen Read was convicted of manslaughter, that probably would make them, they will get joy in Karen Read going to jail. It's the only thing that will make them happy. Right. And they would view that as like somebody has been convicted of taking John's life like that. And that will make, that is closure, you know, whether or not they're stupid enough to believe that is a different story, but like it is closure. Whereas like OUI, like ultimately think about what they're saying. If they convict her of OUI and OUI alone, first of all, this is the most expensive misdemeanor trial in history, right? There are thousands of people outside, millions of people worldwide sitting on pins and needles, waiting on the outcome of a misdemeanor trial. Okay. That's fucking crazy. Like Hank Brennan was hired, $1 million attorney to come in here and spend all this time prosecuting a misdemeanor that maybe we're going to get her on that. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. That appears to be what we're down to here. And I really believe that based on, like, why else are they asking about 12:45 and 5 o'clock? It's so specific, you know?
I mean, you really feel like that's where they're at. Like, think about it from another perspective and another side. You're not looking at it in any other way. Like, sometimes we have to force ourselves to look at it from a different perspective. No?
How could it, what could the perspective be that, what makes you think they haven't? There's nothing about these questions. Let's listen to the next question. Here's the second question.
5, OUI at 12:45 or OUI at 5 a.m. The second, are video clips of Karen's interviews evidence? How can we consider them?
Are video clips of Karen Read, first of all, they called her Karen, which I thought was interesting. They don't call it the defendant or anything like that. They call her Karen. And are they evidence? Okay. Are these videos evidence? And how can we consider them? So that means they're watching those clips, and those clips mostly talk about her admitting to drinking. And one that stands out the most, of course, is when she says that she was probably too buzzed to drive. She admits she shouldn't have been driving, right? So they're asking, can we bring that in as evidence? Because traditionally, you don't have something like that for a DUI. Like, most people on trial for DUI don't admit to the DUI in a video. She's kind of conceding the DUI because she doesn't give a fuck about DUI, you know?
Right.
So that's why I think that they're asked. That's what all three of these questions lead you to believe, that the only thing they're talking about in that room right now, and the only thing they're stuck on, is the DUI. That's it.
I didn't really think about that the parts of the interviews were related to the drinking. Like, I wasn't sure. I didn't see this all being tied together, but the way that you're saying that makes me think. And this is, to me, I think everybody's smart enough to know if something's on TV and it's in a documentary, is this the actual thing? Is it edited? What's the context of it? So them asking, like, what's the exact word does she say? How do they interpret it or use it? Or
hold on, I'll play it again.
Section 5, OUI at 12:45 or OUI at 5 a.m. The second, are video clips of Karen's interviews evidence? How can we consider them?
How can we consider them?
And the third,
are they evidence, and how can we consider them?
Well, that's the first question. Are they evidence?
Yes, she ends up saying yes.
Okay.
So have at it, you know? Like, okay, sure. Yeah, those are evidence. And how can we consider them? And yeah, like you consider them like you normally would. So that's the second question. The best question is the third question. Okay, this is the third question.
does convicting guilty on a subcharge, example, offense 2, number 5, convict the overall charge? So I will give you some.
So let me slow that down. It's just going a little fast. I'll go at normal speed.
Time to on a subcharge, example, offense 2, number evidence. How can we consider them? And the third, does convicting guilty on a subcharge, example, offense 2, number 5, convict the overall charge?
Okay, so does convicting on a subcharge convict the overall charge? So should we bring up the form, the verdict form, just to see what the fuck she's talking about? We need to bring this up, I feel like. Yeah. Okay, did anybody have I could search for it on Twitter. Verdict form. If I search verdict form, see if it comes up.
I think I posted it today. I posted this year's, last year's.
Yeah, as soon as I search for it on Twitter, it comes up right away. So I got it right here. Oh, yeah, that's you. There you go. Okay. Wait, this is Emmanuel. No, this is Karen Read 2025. Oh, you compared and contrast. Wow. Emmanuel 𝗀𝗄𝗧. So this is the guy who killed Michael Chestnut. Oh, you watermark your shit too. Nice. And you compared his verdict form, which is very simple and straightforward, it seems, right? It just says straight up, Emmanuel 𝗀𝗄𝗧, murder. Not guilty by reason of his insanity, guilty of murder in the first degree, guilty of murder in the second degree. So you had 4 choices. And then you had the second one, murder of Vera Adams, the same thing. Okay. So those are the 2 choices those are the 4 choices that they have. Meanwhile, this is page 2. Okay. of Karen Reads. And we have here, you have.
That's this year.
Okay. I'm going to download this, save image as. I'm going to make it a little larger. Okay. Save that.
And so for anybody asking, this is the same courthouse, same judge for those Cena and Adams. Same judge, Canoni, Norfolk, same thing.
Yes, same judge. She did not let Cindy Chestnut cry during that trial. She made her leave, but she doesn't make Peggy O'Keefe get up and leave. I wonder why. So this is the verdict slip. So okay, so you have 5 choices, it seems. Or, like, do you get to pick all of them? Or do you pick some? Is it like a buffet? What do you do here? So, okay, in the above title case, we, the jury, say that the defendant is, on count 2, manslaughter with operating a motor vehicle, not guilty, okay, of the offense charged or any lesser included offense. That's your option A, is not guilty, right? Option B. Right. Is guilty of offense as charged. Manslaughter while operating a motor vehicle under the influence of liquor, okay? And check one or both of the following. So that means she's guilty of hitting John with their car while operating under the influence of liquor, or while operating with a motor vehicle with a blood alcohol level of 0.08 or greater, which are both drunk, but one is like scientifically drunk, it sounds like. Right? So
I'm already confused.
Yeah.
Already I'm confused.
Yeah, I think you could. Okay, so if you don't think she's not guilty, if you think she hit John with her car, you have the option to click on box 2 here, and then you also you can do both if you felt like, or you can do one. Can you do none? I don't think. Okay, so you can do one of them, and okay, so that's option 2. Option 3, guilty of a lesser included offense of involuntary manslaughter. Does it even define what involuntary manslaughter is?
There's nothing with that.
Yeah, it doesn't like tell you what. Okay. Number 4, guilty of a lesser included offense, motor vehicle homicide, felony, OUI, liquor, and negligence. Okay, so you can have motor vehicle homicide by operating a motor vehicle under the influence of liquor. So it's either, I don't know what the difference between manslaughter and motor vehicle homicide is, but like, it sounds like 2 and 4 are similar. No, both involved.
I think it's intent, right? Like it comes down to not intent, but homicide. I don't really. Again, I don't really know.
I don't fucking know either. And then there's, of course, number 5, operating under the influence of liquor. One or either just under the influence of liquor or BAC 0.08% or higher. So that's one they can do. So again, so remember this. This is the form. And now listen to what she says. Listen to what the question is very carefully. Listen to this again.
Right.
And the third, does convicting guilty on a subcharge, example offense 2, number 5, convict the overall charge?
So they list the example, okay? Does convicting on a subcharge convict the overall charge?
And the third, does convicting guilty on a subcharge, example offense 2, number 5, convict the overall charge?
What the fuck is the overall charge? It's just number...
The one at the top, which is the only one that gives you the option of saying not guilty.
They're asking.
That's the overall charge.
What they're asking here is, can you do 1 and 5?
Did she say 5 and like 5 number 2? So like guilty, go back to, can you play it again?
Yeah. Okay. Go back there.
Because I think she says 5 and 2, and then.
And the third, does convicting guilty on a subcharge, example offense 2, number 5, convict the overall charge?
So 2 number 5, but I think, do they mean 5 number 2? Because there is no number 5 for 2.
No, there is. There's the OUI is number 5. Watch.
No. But they say number 2, charge number 2, number 5.
Yeah.
But there is no number 5 under 2. So I think what they mean is 5 number 2.
Whoa, there's 5 right here. Number 5 is right here.
I know, but the way that she said it, but that's what I think that they mean. 5 and then number 2, which would be the bottom one.
Listen again. Listen again what she says.
Does convicting guilty on a subcharge, example offense 2 number 5, convict the overall charge?
Offense 2 number 5. Offense 2 is the manslaughter. Number 5 is the OUI. So does that?
Oh, I thought she was saying number 2. Right. So for me, what's missing on that slip, I think everybody agrees, is wherever there is the word guilty of a charge, you need to have the not guilty of the same charge. That is what's missing from that slip. So speaking with
focusing on the question, I'm focusing on what the jurors are getting at here. What it's pretty clear what they're saying here is that offense 2 number 5, okay, is guilty of a lesser included. So they're asking here, if I convict for OUI, does that automatically convict of manslaughter? That's what they're asking.
Right.
So, yeah. So they're like,
but again, what I'm saying is, again, like at the top, if each one of these things had a guilty or a not guilty, you would check not guilty all the way down. You know what I mean? So it'd be clear in their mind that it's not going to impact the above charges, but it's missing from there. So I think it's just the way it's
getting into the mind of the juror here. What they're trying to find, what they're unclear of, is they don't want to make a mistake where they're like, if we check on number 5, that's not going to convict her of manslaughter, right? That's what they're asking, which means that they don't want to accidentally convict her of manslaughter. That's what they're clarifying right now. If we check this box number 5, does that mean because it's number 5 is under manslaughter. The charge is manslaughter, right? The charge isn't OUI. The charge, I mean, OUI should probably be a 4th charge when you think about it, but it's under the umbrella of manslaughter. So what they're asking is, if we convict her of number 5 OUI and OUI alone, does that convict her of manslaughter? That's what they're asking.
Well, so then my question to you is, do you think that there's any clarity on that? And then what are the chances that they don't convict at all because they're scared of what you're saying? Like they just say not guilty of that because they don't know.
Well,
like she didn't offer them any clarity on it. You know what I mean? So if what you're saying is true and they're apprehensive about it.
We can get to that. So, but I think the big picture that I took out after hearing that those are the 3 questions they're asking. Number 1, they're concerned about specifics about the DUI. Okay, so it's a DUI question. Number 2, they're talking about things that she's saying. Can we use the things she's saying about drinking on TV against her because we're talking about DUI? And number 3, if we do convict her of a DUI, we're not convicting her of manslaughter, right? Which means they're telling me with those 3 questions that the only thing they are thinking about is DUI, and they don't want to accidentally convict her of manslaughter because they don't believe that she hit John with her car. That's what those questions unequivocally told me, is that this jury no longer believes Karen Read hit John O'Keefe with her car. They are past that.
Yes, I'm always worried, but yes, I mean, the way you're breaking it down, I never thought about the second question and the video as being related to the drinking, but you are right. That was probably the only thing that was talked about that would resonate with them. So when you're packaging it like that, I guess that does make sense. And I mean, I guess that's where they are. I mean, but then why did it take them so long afterwards? If they got that information, what time did they ask that question today? Was it like 12:15, 12 o'clock?
This is like probably 11:30. Actually, she has a thing on her desk, doesn't she?
Third questions to you now. So please take your seats. So I'm going to read the questions. I'm going to have them marked. Then I will take
the answers them. Let's see how she answers them. Let's see what she says.
Instruction, and also tell me what you think about what to say about the weight. The third question is a little bit more time to consult. I think the first one, I'll hear from you as to what the time frame is, and I don't need to hear from you now. That's pretty clear cut what they're looking for. The second one are video clips of Karen's interviews evidence. How can we consider them? Well, we know they are evidence and they can give them whatever weight they want. I would also be inclined to give a humane practice instruction, and tell me if you want the digital evidence instruction. It's a little awkward because it would be something like, before you consider any electronic communication in your deliberations, you must first find that it is more likely true than not that the person who appeared in the communication was in fact Karen Read. So think about that when I come back out, but I think it's appropriate to give a humane practice instruction, and also tell me what you think about what to say about the weight. The third question is a little bit more, I think, unclear as to exactly what they're looking for. Does convicting guilty on a subcharge, example offense 2, number 5, convict the overall charge? What I'm proposing, I gave you both a verdict slip where I included the language. I know yesterday I said they have to be read hand in hand, the jury instructions with the verdict slip. I've incorporated the language from the jury instruction into the verdict slip. I've given each side a copy. When I come out, I'd like your input on whether you think this is appropriate. I would instruct them, as I did before, that they start at the top and work their way down. That's the only thing I did not specifically put in here, but I think it takes it step by step, an analysis to do it. So how much time does the defense want to be able to respond to me?
Perhaps 15 minutes.
Okay, and the Commonwealth?
Okay, so then they take a break. They come back in 15 minutes. Let's see what they say when they come back. So they show us some crowd, time. They come back.
You have the evidence.
All right, so I will hear you on the first question, the time of the OUI. Any suggestions?
Do you want to hear from the defense first?
I'll hear from you're standing up, so I'll hear from you first.
Okay. On question number 1, what is the time frame for the OUI charge? Offense 002, section 5, OUI at 12:45 or OUI at 5 a.m. Our suggestion would be something along the lines of, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have the evidence. It's your decision.
You are the fact finder.
You're the fact finder.
They obviously want 5 o'clock. It's like 12.
My suggestion would be 12:45.
Yeah.
Why is it?
Why is it? Because we could convict her easier at 12:45. That's the answer.
Good focus at that time. I don't think there's anything specific in the indictment regarding the time.
Do we have the indictments?
No.
No, we don't. I don't even think she was indicted for OUI.
If it's not in the indictment, I'm uncomfortable telling them a time.
I'm sorry?
If it's not in the indictment, I'm uncomfortable telling them a time. All right.
I agree with the court on principle. I just don't have the indictment memorized, so I don't remember. We can pull that up.
Does anyone in the chat know this? Maybe because the chat always knows everything. We got, by the way, 17,000. This might be the biggest show I've ever done. Jess Machado is a big draw, apparently.
Did you say 17,000 people right now?
Yeah, there's 17,327 people watching. Just on YouTube. 26,000 on Twitter. Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Not as Melanie Little had like 45,000 people in her chat today. Like it was crazy how many.
That's insane.
No, bigger than that. It was like over 50,000. They're talking about filling up stadiums and shit. We could fill up. I mean, think about how many people are watching right now just on YouTube. Could fill up TD Garden. Like that's fucking crazy. When you think about it, like we could be on the middle, like in the place, like we're like the Celtics right now, kind of. So
I wish you hadn't told me because now I'm getting stage fright. That's a lot of fucking people.
Oh, you'll be fine.
It's a lot of people.
55,000 on Melanie's today. That's fucking crazy. For some people, some 53, it was pretty fucking high, whatever it is. That's wild. So anyway, and I tuned in for that. It's just she had an all-star panel today. She had like Nurse Kim. She had Bettero. I mean, Bettero is like that's King Grifter right there. Like you get Bettero on there, you are grifting hard. Like you're grifting good. I had Bettero. Bettero was on. Those were good nights. So anyway, so the indictments. Does anyone in the chat know? Can anybody help me out in the chat to know? Do you know in the indictments, guys? Does it talk about the DUI? Someone in the chat has to know this. So let's see. If the in the indictment, what they're talking about, Bev wants go. Well, I don't know what that means, chat. Hook me up. I don't think OUI is indictable. Yeah, because OUI means you're going to superior court, and OUIs are dealt with in district court because they're misdemeanors. So they never make it there. So she was never indicted for OUI, if I recall.
Right.
So this is fucking crazy. I didn't even know you could add your own charge if you feel like Karen Reed's like, yo, add this on for me. Add like I'm surprised she didn't put littering on there. Like, yo, if you want to convict me, how about littering? I'm just saying, I threw my glass on the ground. It was a little messy. The straw, you guys saw the straw on the ground. If you want to charge me with littering, you can. You could do that, I suppose. I mean, because that seems like when she did this. She's just like, yeah, go ahead and put this on there. So I guess she's allowed to do that. So anyway, this is how Auntie Bev answers it.
I don't expect that there's any time.
All right, so I'll say you have the evidence, and remember, you are the fact finders, or something to that effect. All right. Are the video clips of Karen's interviews evidence? How can we consider them? So I'll tell you what I was planning on saying, then you can add to it. Sure. Yes, the videos are evidence. Give them whatever weight you think is appropriate to give them. And then I would give the digital evidence instruction and the humane practice instruction.
The only thing I would respectfully ask the court to include in that sentence is give them whatever weight, if any, you deem appropriate.
Okay.
Thank you. Otherwise, it's fine.
If any. Be opposed to this, of course.
Okay. What's the Commonwealth's position?
We have a different perspective on that.
Okay.
The first part of the question, are the video clips of Karen's interviews evidence? The answer should be yes.
Okay.
How can we consider them? I think it's fair to say you should weigh the defendant's statements as you would evidence. Since they've been interviewed substantively, they are like any other piece of evidence. There's no difference, and there shouldn't be any reflection of a difference in the answer. We didn't introduce any evidence in this case and say you should give it any weight, if any at all. We didn't provide a limiting instruction in any way, and these shouldn't be so limited. This is just like a photograph. It's no different than a physical piece of evidence. And so I think the answer should simply be yes. You should weigh the defendant's statements as you would any other piece of evidence. I do not think the court should give humane practice or digital evidence. It suggests that there's some deterioration or further analysis that is different. Those instructions were already given during the charge. In addition, those instructions are in their hand in the written jury instructions. And so, to put it most simply, as I think that we should, is this is a piece of evidence, and you weigh it like you would any other piece of evidence, whatever they decide, rather than give them guidance to curtail it or to limit it in any fashion.
My only suggestion, Your Honor, is that every single piece of evidence that's provided to them, it's in keeping with Massachusetts laws, in keeping with the responsibility that they have. Every single evidence is given the weight, if any, they deem appropriate. That is not a misapplication of the law. I think the Commonwealth's suggestion suggests in the answer that they should or they have to give those statements weight, and the law is they don't have to give them any weight. So I think the appropriate comment by the court is exactly as the court suggested initially, which is you give it whatever weight, if any, you deem appropriate.
All right. So she thinks it over.
Nick must be loving that the video clips are getting even that little bit more of attention. He was so proud of kind of like bookending each part of like testimony with those videos. You know what I mean? So he must be like, his dick must be so hard having them ask about this. It's like, that's my work, that's my stuff, I love hearing. Yeah, he's so like, he really drew that out just to say essentially what everybody else was saying, but those are his babies, those clips. He loves that he put those in there.
This is Hank's time to shine.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, talk.
So what I'm going to say is, yes, the videos are evidence. You should weigh the defendant's statements as you would any other piece of evidence and give them whatever weight you deem appropriate. But first, then I'll go and I'll read the electronic communications and the humane practice. That covers it.
I don't have a principled objection to it if the court adds the word if any.
I understand.
Because every single...
I understand.
I don't want them to think, for instance, the way that it's worded as the Commonwealth suggested it, they have to weigh it the same way they weigh other pieces of evidence. Every single piece of evidence is weighed in and of itself. It's individual to the piece of evidence that's presented. For instance, they could weigh the statements by Ms. Reed. They could give it no weight. Each individual juror could decide, I'm going to dispatch it altogether and give it no weight, while giving another piece of evidence, like whatever that might be, the testimony of one of the ARCA witnesses, complete weight. I think that we need to stress that the clips bear no additional weight, no additional gravity than anything else that they've considered. The only way to do that is very simply, you give this the weight, if any, that you decide is appropriate. It doesn't, I think, comparing it and contrasting to other pieces of evidence in the case, it's unnecessary, and it tends to suggest they have to give it weight.
Okay, so your objection's noted. Now let's get to the third one.
And this is
Does convicting guilty on a subcharge, example offense 2, number 5, convict the overall charge? What do you want to say, Mr. Jackson?
There we go.
Your Honor, I appreciate the effort that the court went to amend the verdict slip as it relates to count 2. And I think there are some excellent suggestions by the court in the verdict slip. By and large, I think question number 3 is answered by the amendments in the verdict slip. So we certainly could say something like, does convicting guilty, the question was, quote, does convicting guilty on a subcharge, example offense 2, number 5, convict the overall charge? The answer is no, obviously. And perhaps we could formulate an answer that says something along the lines of, no, new verdict slips have been provided that will make it more clear, or something of that nature. As well as a decision of guilty on the OUI charge 002 number 5 is an explicit acquittal on the higher charges in offense 002, which is a proper statement of the law.
So he wants it to be included. He wants it to say that convicting on number 5 is an explicit acquittal on the more serious charges of manslaughter, which is what the jury is asking. That's what they're ultimately asking, is that, like, by clicking number 5, we're saying that this is the biggest thing we're convicting her for, right? Like, nothing bigger than this. That's what they're asking.
Right.
Because that's what
like you said, we don't want to make a mistake. We want to make sure we've got the right thing here. Yeah. And he's clarifying. Yeah.
You don't want to fuck around and convict someone of a felony on accident. That's what they're asking, which is great. To me, it's just like they're not making the same mistake as the last jury. They want to get this right. They don't want to find out afterwards that they could have asked the question. And, you know, I think that's what they're getting at there, you know?
But still, don't you want to like blow your brains out that this is still needing clarification? Like, so many of us feel like it should never even be at this point. Like, it should never even be. This isn't enough to me. You know what I mean? Like this tweaking it here or whatever, it's not enough. And I feel bad for jurors that have to like stress out about this. Like, you've already had to put up so much of your life. You've stressed out maybe at home with your job or finances. Like, you don't know if these people are missing work and not getting paid, or if it's affecting their home life. Like, now you want to make them stress out over a jury slip. Like, that should be the easiest part of this for them. It's almost like she's making it, I don't know. I think it's disrespectful to them to make them even slightly confused. It should be very clear for them. They're doing a service. Make it easy for them.
Right. So it says this. Let's see.
And then there are suggestions that we have regarding the edits that the court has made to the verdict slip. And I'm happy to go over those with you and put those on the record.
Go ahead.
With regard to going from the top to the bottom, just under number 1, number 1 reads, not guilty of the offense charged or any lesser included offense. We would propose that the court add the consistent language that it's added throughout the verdict slip. If you, quote, if you find the defendant not guilty of the offense charged or any lesser included offense, comma, stop and sign the verdict slip, period. That's the only place that that language doesn't appear, and I think it should appear.
Okay.
The second is a relatively minor issue. However, under number 2, sub 2, the parenthetical check one or both of the following, I think it should say, just to clarify it further, if guilty, comma, check one or both of the following.
All right, I think I'm going to leave it because it appears only under the guilty.
It appears only on?
Under the guilty. So go ahead. I'll hear you further.
Going further, going under number 3, toward the bottom of the page, in the parenthetical that the court suggested, which we find is excellent, if you find the defendant guilty of the lesser offense of involuntary manslaughter, we would simply add that clause.
So we'd have to add it in all of them.
Correct.
Which makes sense. I think we had it in the first one.
Right.
Okay.
And then moving to page 2, at the top of the page under sub 4, again.
Hold on 1 second.
Of course.
Okay.
We have the same suggestion. It appears that the court is not inclined to give it. If guilty, check one or both of the following. And there's a typo. It says
we fixed it.
Check one of.
Okay. Yes. So we changed of to or.
So my only suggestion to that would be to again add the if guilty, comma, check one or both of the following.
Okay.
On that page, going down to the bolded parenthetical, same thing. If you find the defendant guilty of the lesser offense of motor vehicle homicide.
Okay.
Moving down under sub 5.
We still need to say stop and sign the verdict slip.
Right. After the word stop and sign the verdict slip.
Yeah.
And then under sub 5, again, the same thing. We just suggested that for consistency that it say, if guilty, check one of the following of both. And the final edit would be in the final parenthetical, the last sentence. If you find, I think her should be changed to the defendant. If you find the defendant not guilty on this offense and all other offenses, check the first box on page 1.
Okay.
And those are the edits that we have suggested for the verdict slip.
Mr. Brennan?
I don't have any disagreement with the edits.
Okay.
the idea of instructing them on the nuance of selecting one guilty or not guilty needs to be explained. I think with the edits, this proposed instruction explained it.
So he's like, he doesn't like transparency. He's just like, I don't like making this more clear. He claimed at the beginning that he wanted Karen Read to get a fair trial. That's what he's here for, right? And now we're coming down to the end of this, and he's just like, no, I prefer it was confusing for the jury. I think that's better. That's fair.
Well, he was just, levied 3 questions that are painting a picture that he doesn't like. And so he's going to hold on as hard as he can. And
yes, this was not good for him. When he
Right.
heard the questions, when the antis heard these 2 questions, this was like surrender. Not good.
What do you think Lally's thinking this whole time? What do you think Lally is thinking through all of this?
What Lally is thinking is, I got 9 people to believe that John O'Keefe was hit by a car, and you got 0. That's what he's thinking. Like, ha, who's playing with paper clips now, bitch? Who's making whose cheese sandwich now, mofo? Right? I'm king mediocre over here. Like, Lally's king shit today. Today was a good day for Lally. Because this whole, he doesn't like Hank. He's like, Hank makes significantly more money than him. He's got a bigger house than him. Like, Adam lives in Attleboro, and this guy lives in Dover. I mean, those are very different communities. One is a lot nicer than the other. And that's where Adam Lally has to live. He has to live in cheese sandwich land. And this guy gets to live in, whatever, caveat land up in Dover. And everyone owns a horse in Dover. So he's got a nice life there, right? So it was a good day for Lally. I'll give him that. Lally kind of came out on top today without saying a word. I'll give him that. But because Hank, it's like, they hired you. I mean, think about this. They hired this mofo. They spent all this money to bring him in to convict Karen Read, and he gets a worse outcome than Lally. Ouch.
It's so demasculating, this whole trial for Lally. Just his mannerisms, the way he stood, he'd always be behind. Sometimes he was just staring straight ahead at the wood in front of him. Like today, he's got nothing in front of him, no papers, nothing. He's just staring straight ahead, and he can't see above that. So but the whole trial, it's so demasculating. Today, he must be sitting there like internally thinking, he's like, this doesn't sound as good as it did for me. And I wonder how he's like, I wonder how he's feeling. And no memes were made about Lally today. I'm disappointed. People should be giving Lally a gold star, like giving him a little adulation. Like, I agree with you. This was like a little bit of a redemption for him today in some way. I mean, we're not there yet, but it's feeling that way.
And as it turns out, the most important witness in this trial was not Jennifer McCabe. It was not Judd Welcher, for the Commonwealth. It was not any of those people. The most important witness for the Commonwealth was somebody named Gary Fowler. Do you even know who that was?
No.
He was the soft-spoken doctor from Good Samaritan Hospital who did the blood extrapolation from Karen.
Oh, yeah.
He's the most important witness because he's the guy that did the blood extrapolation. So, and guess who did the direct on him?
Lally
did. So today was Lally's day to shine. So as it turns out, Lally examination on the only the only prosecution witness who ended up mattering in this entire case. And so he's like, "Fuck you, Hank. You wasted all that time with Judd and Shannon and all this shit, and they didn't buy it. But they did buy Gary Fowler. They did buy him. They're actually considering what he has to say. So suck it, Hank." Like, he's going home to his wife tonight, and his wife is telling him, "You're so great, Adam. Like, I'm sorry that Hank's being mean to you. Like, you showed him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, his kids are telling him he's doing great, and he's playing catch in the backyard. And Adam Lally is feeling like $1 million fucking bucks tonight because he's like, I got 9, and I did he didn't let me interview anyone. I didn't get to do any. He gave me like 2 direct examinations. Guess what? I fucking killed it. So everything's coming up Lally today, I guess. I don't know.
And as taxpayers, you should feel like you got your value and your tax dollars worth with Lally. You know what I mean? Like, that's money well spent. It's a reasonable discounted rate. It's not the money that we're spending on Hank. So it's got value. Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Lally.
let me pull up. What was I going to say now? So they end up with this chart. Let me go to the next thing on this. What he ends up saying, or what she ends up saying.
If you decide on a lesser included offense, it does not include the earlier offense. I'm not sure of the exact language I can use. I don't think that's necessary, but that is something I wouldn't have an objection to. But I think the form just fill it out with you, but it's going to be sufficient to follow.
What do you think about the defendant's position that if you were to find her guilty of operating under the influence, Mr. Jackson said explicit acquittal. I don't like that language. I think if you find it, it means you have found her not guilty of each of the others.
That would be fine with us.
I think it's better if you find her guilty of any lesser included offense, it would not include the higher offense.
All right.
I think that's just confusing.
So what I planned on doing was bringing them out and giving them each a copy of the amended verdict slip, explaining that it really is consistent with the jury instructions I gave them, but walking them through it. So we start from the top and then explain, if you find the defendant guilty, you're done. Stop, sign the verdict slip, and let the court officer know you have a verdict or something. I think I'll walk them through it like we do in civil cases.
I don't have any objection to that. The only other thing is the digital instruction.
Yes.
We don't believe that it's necessary. I don't think that we should reemphasize that, and we're not asking for it.
All right, so you're waiving it?
We're waiving it.
Okay.
Yes,
All
thank
right,
you.
I will do humane instruction, humane practice instruction. So I need 5 minutes in Tori, your computer, to amend this if we can, and we'll make copies. So we'll bring the jurors in. Let them know that we'll be bringing them in shortly, Tony. All right, thank you.
Back, and so she goes in the chambers and she hangs out in there for a bit, and then they show outside, and there's the fan, and more fan, and fan, and fan, and we're all gonna miss the fan a lot. I guess the fan's back. I think this is the new form they're looking at here.
Seat of your question, we've been working on making sure that the answers we give you are the right ones, so it's taken us a while. So the first question, what is the time frame for the OUI charge? Offense 002, Section 5, OUI at 12:45 or OUI at 5 a.m.? The answer to that question is that you folks have all the evidence. And remember, it's only you who decide the facts in this case. All right, that's the answer to that question. You are the
So the answer to number one is figure it out yourself. Okay.
fact finders. The second question, are video clips of Karen's interviews evidence? How can we consider them? Yes, the videos are evidence. You should weigh the defendant's statements in the videos as you would any other piece of evidence and give them whatever weight you deem appropriate. But first, before you may consider any such statement, you're going to have to make a preliminary determination whether it can be considered as evidence. You may not consider any such statement in your deliberations for the truth of any such statement unless, from all the evidence in the case, the Commonwealth has proven beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant made the statement that she's alleged to have made and that she made it voluntarily, freely, and rationally. So that's the answer to that question. So for the third question, does convicting guilty on a subcharge, example offense 2, number 5, convict the overall charge? So with that, what I'm going to do is I have amended the verdict slip. It's the exact same verdict slip, and it's still consistent with the jury instructions I gave you, but it's a little bit easier for you to follow. And for purposes of going through this, we'll go through it together, and I've got a copy for each one of you, okay?
All right. There you go. We're basically amending it. So that answers those questions. So at this point, I'm feeling like wicked good because I'm like, okay, like I've taken those questions to understand that they're solely focused on DUI. Karen Reed and her team seem to agree. Hank's team and everybody has given up. And it's not just me saying this. Let's check in on Yellow Cottage fails and see how, because I like to listen to this sometimes just to see how retards think. Okay. And they had a tough day. They had a tough day over here. Like, let's see when this comes in, how they handle these questions. This all-star panel of deep thinkers.
She looks pretty happy.
She looks pretty happy.
Boxer.
What the hell could they even be talking about if they don't know anything?
This guy is. Have you seen this guy? Boundless.
Who are these people?
Okay, so this is, well, it's Plevin, Krusty, and Boundless Millennial, and then there's some guy who's I think they call him Benzo Bob, just some guy. He's one of Krusty's people. He's just has joined the Karen Reed is guilty thing because Kate told him to. And
Wait, is one of these people the ones that fake victim talked about that she has never met, that she testified to, that helped her during, remember she had to testify to something? Somebody did something for her and she said she never met them. Is it one of them?
And on the intro, I forgot about that testimony. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
We just call him Benzo Bob. Okay.
Okay.
And so this is Boundless Millennial. He was a Karen Reed supporter for about a month when I first started writing about this. He was on TikTok, and then he realized that he signed a petition in 2017 or 2018. His name is Matt Doherty. He lives in Florida. He's a homosexual man in Florida, which is great. I fully support that, being his true self. But he's like, he's gotten a DUI before. It's kind of, this mugshot's kind of funny. And he had signed this petition in 2017 to like ban Turtleboy from the internet or something. It was this thing called Turtle Boycott. It's a change.org petition. And I went through it once and I noticed that he signed it. So he's known who I am for 6 or 7 years. And I think he was initially Karen Reed supporter. And then he realized I was behind the Free Karen Reed thing. And so he switched to Karen because he didn't like me.
Right.
Plus, of course, was a fence sitter on this whole thing for a while. He said some really nice things about me initially. And then I called him a fence sitter because he wouldn't just come out and say Karen Reed's innocent, even though he clearly thought that. And then he became the leader of this resistance movement, standing up against the mindless mob by running my own mindless mob. That's his theory. So let's hear what they're talking about. Some deep thinkers over here.
So please take your seats. So I'm going to read the questions. I'm going to have them marked. Then I will take a short recess, let you all talk about it, and then come back. So, all right. So I received 3 questions from the jury. The first one is, they appeared on note cards, so that I don't know what order they came in, but this is the order I got them. This is the order I'm going to read them. What is the time frame for the OUI charge? Offense 002, Section 5, OUI at 12:45 or OUI at 5 a.m.? The second, are video clips of Karen's interviews evidence? How can we consider them? And the third, does convicting guilty on a subcharge, example offense 2, number 5, convict the overall charge? So I will give you some time to consult. I think the first one, I'll hear from you as to what the time frame is, and I don't need to hear from you now. That's pretty clear cut what they're looking for. The second one are video clips of Karen's interviews evidence. How can we consider them? Well, we know they are evidence and they can give them whatever weight they want. I would also be inclined to give a humane practice the person who appeared about the weight.
I just want to hear
the third question, proposing slip, specifically put in, okay?
Here we go.
That doesn't sound like they're pondering an acquittal.
It also doesn't sound like they're pondering a very meaningful charge either.
Wait. Oh, he's an acquittal.
Which is,
he's
we have another idiot.
Not like they're pondering. Okay, hold on. One more time. I thought he said conviction. I fucked that up.
That doesn't sound like they're pondering an acquittal.
It does, though.
It also doesn't sound like they're pondering a very meaningful charge either.
No, they're not.
Right. Which is, we have another idiot jury. They don't know. That question doesn't even make sense. Charge number 2, number 5, if you're guilty on that, it finds you guilty for the main. What?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. They're so mad. It's not. They don't like it.
I think you're on mute, or I can't hear you.
They get it.
You know what? I was muted. Sorry about that. The lawnmower was going by. Yeah. So for what I said, this is bad news for Karen, and it seems to me that they're debating aspects of the manslaughter charge. They're definitely not looking at acquittal. And
what?
So what is 2-5? I'm gonna look this up because I think somebody sent me this yesterday.
It's just OUI.
It's OUI. Yeah.
That's a joke.
Well, to be fair, it doesn't mean that they're only considering
OUI.
Right. They could be needing clarification.
They decided on that one. Yeah.
OUI is a part of the manslaughter charge. So right.
Yeah, it is. It's part of. He's.
I'm not worried about Kate because her whole identity is you. But that second guy, the yellow cottage tails guy, this is his whole identity. This is everything, right? So if
Krusty is throwing in the towel and saying that they're not pondering a conviction, it's over. It's fucking over.
Yeah.
They're done.
On the screen.
Reality is setting in them. Yeah, this is great.
How many views do they get of that thing? How many people watch that?
I can't remember that one.
Not many.
Okay.
What's the time frame?
Then they look
at 12:45 or 5:45.
All right, so here is the verdict slip for manslaughter while operating a motor vehicle under the influence of liquor. Part 5, guilty of lesser included offense, operating under the influence of liquor, operating a motor vehicle under the influence of liquor, operating.
I think that's their question. Yeah.
Yeah, that's number
Yeah,
5, right?
But that's also part of the manslaughter question.
Yes, exactly.
So,
They're confused.
isn't
I
number
would-
5 only OUI? Number 5?
That's the way I read it.
Yeah, but it's part of the manslaughter.
So that would be only OUI, and then the manslaughter one is
The whole
number
thing
2.
is manslaughter. The whole thing is manslaughter. The whole page is manslaughter. That's
So
what they're
it
not
sounds like
getting,
they have
right?
decided on number 5, in my opinion.
Yeah, which is outrageous.
See?
And then they're asking for the time frame, so that's the one that they're debating right now. Like
But
that's so
yeah.
It's
stupid.
confusing. She
2.08.
really wasn't. She wasn't driving at 5:45. We know that. We know that other people were.
They're mad. Reality is setting in here. They're figuring it out. This is them.
I mean, we
figuring
have another idiot
out
jury.
time that Karen Reed's not.
So we're she's,
So-
you know,
Okay, here we go.
Did I get this right? That there was a blogger that put out a statement saying that there would be breaking news at 11, then at
Oh,
11 on.
this is where they blame me for this because I made a prediction that the verdict would come in at 11 o'clock. As it turned out, this question came in at 11 o'clock. That was just my prediction. I don't actually know shit. I'm allowed to make predictions.
Right.
And so these people who think conspiracy theories are ridiculous now believe that I rigged this. This is what they're going to start saying now, that I rigged this because I knew this was going to happen at 11 o'clock.
On the dot, this comes through. Now, not to get like too conspiratorial myself, but if I knew a fix was in, I probably wouldn't say it. But if I was an idiot, I might.
A fix is in. I fixed it. I did this. I'm so powerful. Look at they're go ahead.
I don't.
So, for instance, if
I just don't understand how there would be like a group of people that would like do this
Every day.
Like
They found each other.
this is a thing for them, really? Yeah.
A file of unfuckable misfit losers that have all united on something called Yellow Cottage Fails, and this is what they do.
if you knew this was going to happen and you told people prior to it happening, and it doesn't make much sense unless somebody's compromised or pressured. That's a weird thing to say before 11.
I don't like these questions at all.
Here you go. They don't like them. See, they
The other one was about how to win eclipse.
Yeah, she said that she wasn't lucid. She shouldn't be driving on the highway, and she shouldn't be driving at all. Like, I mean, come on.
Well, that's
Unless they have the data.
Here's reality setting in.
OUI is not even a question. Like, it's idiotic that they're even asking about this.
I agree.
It's frustrating because it's like, all right, they spent like all this money and all this time for a bunch of fucking idiots that don't even know what OUI is, and she admitted it. In the blood alcohol, like it's so stupid.
Ooh, yeah.
I hate this country.
They're so mad.
She's gonna get off.
Wait, did you hear what 𝗪cie just said? Listen to this.
In this blood alcohol, like it's so stupid. Ugh, I hate this country.
Yeah, she's gonna get off.
She's gonna get off. They gave up. They've thrown in the towel. She's gonna get off.
Wow.
They're done. Like,
Wow.
like they understand the gravity of this. If they're
Wow.
saying they get
I mean,
it,
I don't understand how you can look at this and be like, if we choose 5, that makes her guilty of everything. Like,
that's what
I think
they
it's very easy to understand the slip.
They don't want to.
And 12 people can't figure this out. They have to ask the question. Like, it's like we have a bunch of idiots
I could watch.
Or there's one
like
idiot and
that's
they're
arguing with the rest of them.
trying
Is
to
he
quiet
saying
them up
the
with, okay, fine.
jurors-
We'll ask the question the way
Yeah,
you're
I was
asking
gonna
us.
say that.
We can't explain it.
What'd you say?
He's saying that the jurors are idiots. That's what he's saying.
They're saying the jurors are idiots because they're only considering OUI because it's obvious. This is, I'm telling you, this is the reality of what this means is that the jury is no longer considering the idea that John O'Keefe was hit by a car. They're not even thinking about that. The only thing they're thinking about is an OUI, which does not involve John O'Keefe getting hit by a car. That's it. They're like, okay, well, technically that's on the menu. So we have to evaluate whether or not she was operating under the influence of alcohol. And this is what this kind of backfired on Karen adding the OUI to the menu. It was supposed to be like a distractor, but what if they hang on it? You know what I mean?
So let me ask you that question. So what is the result if this is a conviction on the OUI? So what's the maximum of punishment? What can happen?
On paper, 2.5 years, but she's not gonna get any jail time for that. Auntie Bev wouldn't dare. She wouldn't dare. I know some people think she would. She wouldn't fucking dare. It's instantly appealable. Right. She's never sentenced anyone to jail for a first time OUI conviction ever, especially somebody with no priors like Karen Reed. Okay, it's never gonna happen, right? So that's just not. It's like, don't worry about that. There's too much too much case loss. They don't got to worry about that.
You're not listening. We'll push this through the question. We'll get that question back. If that satisfies.
You hear this?
And there could be some horse trading going on in there too. So.
Yeah,
they get mad. Watch, they get mad. Oh, they're so mad.
I don't see how you can't see a collision with the tech stream data, the tail light, the debris fields, and the man's not moving right after it.
Probably because the doctor said he wasn't hit by a car. That might have had something to do with it, dude. They're so retarded. They just completely discounted everything 𝗏𝗂𝗧𝗏 said. Like, they're living in this bubble.
Right.
And they're just like, but
it's delusional. It's delusional.
Yeah.
I mean, people are saying think positively, but like, these questions are all about the goddamn OUI, which I feel like is like, you're an idiot if you don't know that she had an OUI. Like, why is it's just like frustrating? They're not even asking about anything else. Ugh. Like, that's the one that they're arguing. Like, come on now.
Oh, they're so mad. They're so I can't wait to hear 𝗀𝗲𝗃.
I'm never going back to Massachusetts again.
I'm leaving this country. I'm leaving this country. Please do. Please do.
The argument was like she was waiting outside the house and like whatever, she got mad. There was no evidence ever to support that. But I don't even think the jury, I don't think that Hank played any of those clips where she says that. Did he? Because it's like that would just mean nothing to them.
Look at this panel. Look at these all-stars. Oh, the fan. What's Plevin? Is he eating a cheese sandwich?
I think they're probably arguing about whether that
what is Plevin
is enough to say that she had an OUI. Because the instruction said like she doesn't actually need to be over the legal limit.
How they're deliberating and what they're saying. It's easier to lean towards an inference, right? Like, oh man, they're right off the rails. I mean, it's not looking great, but
it's not looking great.
So
yeah, so they admit it's not going well. So this is like a unmitigated disaster. That's all I needed to hear was from these people that they don't like any of this. They're telling you they know this was bad. But then, so we're all excited about this, right? I'm like, this is why I go outside and I'm like, this is ending today. Like, Bettero was convinced it was ending today. Everybody was convinced it was ending today. And then 1:30 comes around, okay? And then we get a new question. And that comes, let's find it. Let's see, is this the new question?
All right, so we'll see everybody at 1:30.
Okay, so it's supposed to be 1:30. What do you think of this whole thing with the outside? As opposed
I talked to Hardman today. He came in and I said, hey, how's it going? And he's like, good. And I said, how are you feeling? He's like, good. I said, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling? Like, to try to gauge him. And he's like 8.9. And he told me that, he preferred the buffer zone last year. The other one was better. He had to go hard on the first day to send a message, he said. That's why we arrested that guy. He said, but his job is just to enforce whatever the rules are, and that's what he's doing. And I said, I feel like everybody thinks you're a little softer now. We've seen video with you with Rita. We saw you kind of like being nicer. And he's like, I'm always the same. Everybody's misinterpreting me. I'm always the same. Then he talked about his girlfriend and going on vacation. And I don't know. I mean, he seemed much more relaxed today than I've seen him any other day. But he said that guy, who's the guy that they arrested on day one that they put in like the back of the paddy wagon?
Wow.
He filed something against him. I think he told me. He's saying like his back is hurt or something, and he got something filed against him for that.
Yeah, he's a douchebag. He's choosing to be Mr. Authoritarian. He didn't have to do that. He chose to do that. So we were feeling good. And then I'm like, we're definitely going to get, I'm like, something big is going to happen in Dedham today. Get your ass to Dedham. And then we come back at 1:30. It turns out there's a fourth question.
Have that question, please. Thank you.
Here's the fourth question.
All right. So as counsel knows, we received a question from the jurors. If we find not guilty on 2 charges, but can't agree on 1 charge, is it a hung jury on all 3 charges or just 1 charge?
So I hear that and I'm like, oh my God, it's deja vu. If we have not guilty, listen to this. The specifics of this.
We received a question from the jurors. If we find not guilty on 2 charges, but can't agree on 1 charge, is it a hung jury on all 3 charges or just 1 charge?
What? Like when I heard that, I'm like, what? That sounds familiar.
Same thing.
That's what the whole SJC thing was about last year in the Supreme Court and all this shit. The same thing. Holy shit. They're in the same place. But they're a little different. because this also relates to the other three questions. If we are hung, if we are, he didn't say if we've reached a decision on 2 charges. He said if we've acquitted, right? He said acquitted. I just want to make sure I heard that. Right?
I think it was hung or
We received a question from the jurors. If we find not guilty on 2,
if we find not guilty on 2 charges. So he doesn't say if we've reached a verdict on 2 charges. He said if we found not guilty on 2 charges. And there's no if, you know?
Right.
Yeah. He said if we find not guilty on 2 charges. So that means they're not saying if, like we found not guilty on 2 charges. Okay. Murder and leaving the scene of an accident. Done. But we hang on the 3rd.
2 charges, but can't agree on 1 charge.
But we can't agree on 1 charge. Because keep in mind, in their view, based on question number 3, they're unclear that if they can't decide on number 5, charge 2, number 5, that is hung. They're not sure. Like, is this hung if we have one aspect of this that we haven't figured out? The rest of we've figured out 1 through 4. We don't like 2, we don't like 3, we don't like 4. But if we choose 5, does that mean we automatically convict of manslaughter? Because we don't want to do that either, because that's too much. We just want to do a simple OUI, and we're hung on that. Like, this is how they're making it clear. We are hung on OUI. No?
I agree. Again, super frustrated that I think a verdict slip could have really helped them understand what they're doing. Compartmentalize each one of these charges with guilty, not guilty for each thing, and then they would just move through it, navigate from the top to the bottom. But these questions of coming back, but I think this question here made me think that there are some holdouts that are saying there's just not enough evidence to prove to me that she was actually drinking and driving, or what her alcohol blood content was at that time. And so if you're starting to get technical, people are going to start saying, what real evidence do we have that she actually was? And I think maybe some people, like you said, are saying that here is the bone, but some people are going, but is there really enough evidence for this? And so then can we be hung on this? Are we okay? Are we all right if we all agree to disagree on this one and give you nothing, but will it affect what's up top? So yeah, that was a very interesting question. And that was when I was like, okay, maybe we are going to see something today. But they're still chatting about it, I guess.
They can't agree on the OUI. It's the only thing that they're debating. Not debating anything else. They're just hung on the OUI, which is fucking crazy that after all this, these 12 people are sitting in a room arguing about a simple OUI in which no one got hurt. That's another part of this. Is like, Jim McDermott, the clerk, would imagine a world in which he reads the verdict and he says, Karen Reed, you have been found guilty of drinking under the influence. Meanwhile, that guy drove under the influence and nearly killed a woman and kept his job as Superior Court clerk. And Chris Albert got drunk and killed a man and went to jail for 6 months. And we're going to sit here and tell this. And Brian Higgins got drunk that night, drank a whole bunch of Jameson and gingers. It is on video doing donuts in the Canton Police Department parking lot. Okay. Brian Albert, Matt McCabe, they all admittedly drove drunk that night. Like, crazy. Just crazy that we're even.
It'll be poetic if that's the way that it goes down. Poetic that's going to happen that way.
Well, my opinion.
I think more and more though, it's going to be a hung jury on that charge. I just don't think you're going to get everybody to agree on it.
And that could be a disaster, because Betterow and others have said that if they hang on number 5 of count 2, the OUI charge, if they hang on that, that means they hang on the entire charge of count 2. So they hang on manslaughter. So we would have to have an entire trial again for manslaughter. And because she doesn't answer this question, they are now unclear about whether they're allowed to come back to her and say, we've acquitted on 1 and 3, which they clearly have done. Again, Karen Reed has now been acquitted of murder twice. And she might have to undergo potentially triple jeopardy if this whole trial ends in a a mistrial. We might have to do this, which I'm convinced that she wants. I think she likes it. I think she likes being on TV. I think she likes being the villain. I think she likes getting her hair done. I think she likes being called Auntie Bev. She loves it. She doesn't want there was a motion to recuse her 2 years ago. She could just been like, what the fuck do I care? I've had 2 judges in my cases, including Halal and Leighton, recuse themselves from my case because they've gone golfing with Cosgrove before, right? Because judges do that all the time. They're just like, yeah, I'm just going to recuse myself. But her, no. She's like, I want to stay on this. She gets paid the same no matter what. She could be a judge in another case. She wants this case. She likes being on TV, and she never wants this to end. Like, her biggest nightmare is the Karen retrial ending, and the thought of a third trial to her gets her moist. It does. She loves it.
It is diabolical, though, that for someone who you're saying feels that way is such a bitch when she's there. She looks like she can't be bothered, like she'd rather be anywhere else but there. That to me is a mind fuck. That like, okay, fine, maybe she does want to be there, but for her to pivot from that and just act like so bored and so impatient and so sympathetic with these jurors that they're there. She said that again, like, oh, they want to go home. Well, number one, how do you know? But number two, like, how she's acting there doesn't jive with that whole like loving, thriving for the spotlight. Although the hair and the shoes and stuff does give that notion that she's loving that little extra bit of screen time for sure. I don't know. She loves being. I can't figure it out.
Loves. That's what people don't understand about her. She loves being the bitch. She loves being Auntie Bev. She loves being the person. This topic of. She loves it. She clearly likes it. And some people just like being miserable. Some people like being in miserable relationships where all they do is complain about their spouse and just shit on, like, complain to them, but then they don't leave them, and then they're just together because they just like being miserable. And she likes being miserable. She likes this. Right. She likes to just come in here and be like, but because she's in charge. Ultimately, she doesn't like Alan Jackson. She kind of likes shitting on him a little bit. She never kicks him off, and she just keeps him around. And this is her answer to this. It was infuriating. Like, I'm like, all of a sudden my spirits, I'm like, I was so convinced that we were going to get a verdict today, and then this happened.
Is it a hung jury on all 3 charges or just 1 charge? I got some input from the defense at sidebar, essentially saying if we could just ignore it. We can't ignore it. To me, it's a theoretical question, and we don't answer theoretical questions. I tell the jurors that they're not to be concerned with the consequences of their verdict, and that's exactly what they're doing here. So I would propose just writing simply, this is not a question I can answer on this, and sending it back.
The defense position is not certainly not. I agree. You can't ignore your question. However, I think that it is apropos, given the timing of when that question came in, literally before the court had answered the other 3 note card questions. I think that it would be appropriate to send in a quick note, just asking them, given the fact that there's some clarity in your other questions, does this answer your question? In other words, can you proceed without any further input by the court regarding that second question?
So that made sense initially, but why ask them, do I really need to answer it, to then tell them I'm not answering it?
Because I think at some point, they need to know what the law is. It's a reporting question. In other words, I don't see it as theoretical, as the court indicated. I see it a little bit differently, which is, what are our options? And the options are built in the law, not in theory. If they come back with a verdict on more than 1 count, but they're hung on a separate count, they are to report those 2 counts, whatever counts they came to a verdict on.
So that's for a later time, right? So this is, at this point, it's premature, it's hypothetical, it's theoretical. I understand your point. I think I disagree with you at this point. It may be some.
Number one, who cares if it's so then just say, well, then answer in the hypothetical and say, if you feel this way, here's what you can do. Bro, this just happened. Like, do you want this to happen all over again? Like, this is what the other jury didn't do. They didn't come to Auntie Bev with this exact question that they should have. They wanted to. Ronnie told me that the foreman wouldn't let them. And now they're actually doing the responsible thing. They're going to the judge. They're asking this, but because they didn't phrase it the right way, because they said if, instead of we are deadlocked on this, are we allowed to hang, like, it's like she knows exactly what they're doing. She sees the problem arising and she wants it to happen again because she wants trial 3. That's all it comes down to. She wants trial 3.
She doesn't, she's never going to help them. I mean, I thought Jackson asking for them to be able to say, you know, did we answer your question, crazy to me, because you know she's never going to say yes to that. She is as hands off on this as possible. It's almost like she loves watching them drown in this. You know what I mean? Like, it's so weird. Like, you can hear this whole thing is they need a little help. They need a little guidance. And she has options and she's not giving any of it. And it's so mean to them. And again, like regular people who have sacrificed all this time, they're just desperate for a little bit. Just give us a little bit of help here, you know, nudge us in some way or comfort us in some way. And she is withholding it. Does she have kids?
I assume so. Yeah, she does. She does have kids.
I wonder what kind of a mom she is. You know what I mean? Like, is she like total hands off, like cold? Like, it's cold to do that. These people just need a little bit of help. Like, they're trying to do a job. Like, they didn't ask for this. You know what I mean? Like, help them out a little bit. And she's just not having it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what she's like as a parent. I'm not going to go there. But, you know what I mean? It's like, I just think that when it comes to her courtroom, she just likes to shit on Alan Jackson. She likes to remind her that you ain't shit. This is my courtroom. This is the way things are.
From here.
That's her solution to everything. Is that like, no, this is the way things are always done. And we don't fix problems around here. We don't come up with creative solutions around here. We do things a certain way around here, and it's just fine. It was just fine until you came in here, cowboy, with your fancy Californias. We don't like that. And it's funny because Sacco and Vanzetti had an attorney from California too, and he also rubbed Judge Webster Thayer the wrong way and kind of had that same attitude with him. And it's happening all over again. But ultimately, I'm not worried about it. Honestly, so when this happened, so she tells the jury, "Fuck off." Like, I'm not answering your question.
Right.
He objects a bunch of times because he's thinking SJC already. He's thinking last time in front of the SJC. This is specifically what they said that they didn't do, right? You guys didn't make a record of this. You didn't object to this. You didn't. So now he's like making a record of it. Like, I object to this. This is inappropriate for you not to say this. So now there's a record of it. If the jury comes back and says the same shit, Karen Reed has a much stronger case. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But what I was hoping the jury would do after this happened was just get back and be like, she's not answering our question. Well, fuck that bitch. Let's just acquit and go home. That's what I was hoping they did.
I saw your tweet.
Yeah. So, but they didn't.
Like, yeah, are they that frustrated? Are they ready to go? Like, we're not getting any help. That very first question, she didn't answer it, right? She didn't give them anything. And now here's another thing. So I don't know. You wonder with a younger jury, are they feeling that way? Like that frustration and just be like, let's just get out of here. I don't know.
Are you? I mean, if you were like, okay, what are we doing? We're talking about DUI here. Fucking who cares? Like, acquit, convict, whatever.
Well, I think there's a couple jurors on there I'm worried about that wouldn't have that sentiment.
What was that? They wouldn't have that
There's
sentiment?
a couple jurors on there that wouldn't feel that way. They would pull back on that and say, no, we're going to refocus. We're going to dig deep. And like the woman that you're concerned about, that one in the front.
Juror 12.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm more concerned about her than others, just because I could picture her being judgmental of Karen. She made no visible face during the trial that she was, disgusted with the Commonwealth or anything like that from what I saw. And we'll see. But ultimately, I think that tomorrow, I think that they're going to come in and, I mean, sleep does wonders. And I think they're going to come in tomorrow and they're just going to be like, let's get this over with. Tomorrow, Thursday's Juneteenth. They don't want to come back in on Thursday. They certainly don't want to, on Friday, right? And I know you said court is canceled on Friday, but it appears as if it's open. No?
Okay.
I mean, that's just what people
I don't know.
What?
I'm waiting for someone to give me full clarity on that. But I mean, I was told it was not on Friday. But I haven't heard either way. I have a question though. Do you think, anybody's going to walk away from this jury this late in the game, or is everybody staying?
Fuck no. If I was wondering that
Okay.
too, I see the alternates there, and to their credit, they're still coming in. I just wouldn't show up. I'd be like, fuck this. I did this for like 31 days. I don't even get to decide. I'm sleeping in today.
Right.
I gotta be like, I'm out of
Right.
here. That's what I would do. I'd be
Right.
like, but they're still going. They still show up. They're still doing their civic duty. God bless them. And it appears as if they've reached the correct conclusion about John O'Keefe not getting hit by a car. None of the tech stream data mattered. None of the 31 miles and like whatever, 24 miles in reverse at 12:31, and then the time drift happened at 12:32. None of that shit mattered because John's arm wasn't broken, and it should have been. And John didn't have hypothermia, and he should have had hypothermia. That's what ultimately mattered in this case. None of that other shit mattered at all. So it's great.
I think it's just a totally different case this time around, a totally different jury, and I think a totally different outcome. You can't have all of those things different than the first and have the same outcome. So I think it's different case, different jury, different witnesses. You know what I mean? There's so many things that are different. So I think the outcome is going to align with all of those changes, and it will not, it's not going to be what it was the last time. I think we're close, but don't you worry at all that it just, I thought that today would be it. There was so much time in the afternoon. I wonder what were they talking about in the afternoon after these questions came back? How much more was there to kind of talk about? Then I kind of thought like, oh, maybe they're being strategic and they're going to come back later. Like, let's just get out of here and be done. Like, I don't know. And then I was very disappointed to see them need another day. Like, I wonder how they left it. You know what I mean? Like, we just got a couple things we got to iron out tomorrow. You know, what do you think?
It's a great question. I wish I had an answer to that. I pay good money to know what's going on in that room. I wish the whole world wishes they knew what was going on in that room. I don't know how long you can discuss an OUI for. I don't know how before you run out of shit to talk about. Like, okay, so the BAC, so we look at the BAC test. Okay, so it was this at this time. Okay, what else we got on there? Okay, so these clips were maybe they just started fucking around with this new shit. Like, okay, so let's listen to the clips again. We'll debate that. That appears to be what they're just dealing with. Was she drunk at 5 o'clock? Was she drunk at 12:45? What are we allowed to do? Maybe they're debating the form. Like maybe they're cognizant of what happened last time and they don't want to repeat that. And they're discussing that we don't want this jury to hang again. We don't want all our work to be for nothing. We don't want to make some stupid mistake. What do we think here? And I just, I don't know. I think that at the end of the day, I think that this jury is going to acquit Karen Read tomorrow morning by 11 o'clock. Once again, that's my prediction. It's 11 o'clock. She's going to be acquitted tomorrow.
I think it's tomorrow. If there's no court on Friday and they know that, they're not going to want to come back on Monday. We underestimate like what people's lives are like and what's happening. And you don't know if somebody economically needs to be back at work. You don't know if somebody is detached from their kids for all of these weeks, you know, like and I think maybe there are some people that are young that want to go back to like partying with their friends and living their lives. And you know what I mean? Like who can live that? I mean, I'm wrong asking you that question. Who can give up that much time of their life? Because you have, but yeah, I don't yeah. I think they want to get back to their lives. It's been a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna put a poll in the chat so people can answer this. What do you guys think in the chat? Will there be a verdict tomorrow? Yes or no? Let's see what the chat says. We are up to 500 votes. 95% of the chat says yes, that there will be a verdict tomorrow, which means Free Karen Read officially happens tomorrow, because ain't no way there's going to be any sort of serious conviction tomorrow. If Krusty's throwing in the towel and Carrie Lama's throwing in the towel and Julie Carpenter's throwing in the towel, Kofen Doofus threw in the towel today, they all threw in the fucking towel, all of them. So they're giving up. Even Hank just seemed defeated today. He just seemed defeated. I think they're done. I can't wait. I wish it should have fucking happened today, though. It should have happened today. It was bullshit. Fucking Bev. Fucking Beverly.
What's this talk about Karen saying that if there is the OUI conviction, everybody still has to be quiet and no yelling or screaming, because what happens like in regards to her coming back or sentencing or something? I don't know. I saw some buzz about everybody still has to be quiet or something.
Well, Dina was making a speech across the street after I think she spoke with the police about it, and was urged. They said, do not say a word after the verdict. When the O'Keefe family comes out, do not say a word. And I don't even think that was necessary, because I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, it hasn't happened all trial. Nobody says shit to the O'Keefes. It's such a lie. I don't have any respect for them whatsoever. I don't like them. I got my own personal beef with Paul and Peggy, but you ain't gonna see me booing them or anyone. I don't do that anymore. Like, nobody does. That's so 2023. You know, that's so like I already got my booze in. I already did all that. It's out of my system. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm on my best behavior. And I think everybody else is doing the same too. I don't think anything like that's going to happen. It's going to be silence. They'll walk out first. Actually, it wouldn't surprise me. What often happens when when acquittals happen, when the prosecution doesn't get the person that they're going after, often the family kind of decompresses in the DA's office for a while. So they'll probably just go and sit there for a while and let Karen Reed's team leave first. And they will probably leave after it dies out. That would be my guess. I think Karen Reed's team will come out first. My question is, should I come out with the team or before? Should I have my own entrance out? I mean, because this is part of my celebration too, no?
I think you should go out first and then be with your people when they come out. You know what I mean? Like, if you come out afterwards, I think it'll be anticlimactic for you. I don't know if they're going to get swept away like they did last time. I mean, her family has always kind of been around, and I don't know what their plan is. I mean, it was very anticlimactic last year, if you remember. They got swept off to the side around the corner the other way. The cars didn't even go past the buffer zone area last time. It was pouring rain almost instantly when they came outside. There was nobody around. This is going to be very, very different. Essentially, you're going to see what you saw today, right? And yesterday, 1,000 people out front across the street. Good luck keeping any of those people quiet. I think they're just going to say, I'm going to risk it all, and everybody's going to be screaming and going crazy if it's what we think is going to happen. I mean, I think you should go out first, get the reaction and that you deserve, and then be with everybody to have them come down, I think. Or go down with them. I don't know. I mean, the haters will not like that, to see you go with them. You know what I mean? They'll say you're trying to like jump in on that, but I don't know. Yeah.
All right.
How are you feeling? Like, I'm like, it's not, I have to be like reporter style, but like, what's it going to be like for you post trial? I remember asking you that question last year, and I was like, what are you going to do? And you're like, I'm doing this still. Like, this is still going to happen. What's going to happen for you after this?
I have a bunch of charges of my own I have to figure out. And so I'm going to continue.
What is going on with that, by the way? Do you have a hearing in June?
My next hearing was supposed to be June 20th. My sister's getting married this weekend, so I have the rehearsal dinner Friday. That's the other thing I don't want to do on a Friday. I got my sister's rehearsal dinner Friday. So, I mean, I won't even be able to fucking celebrate. Give this, oh my God, I can't even think of that. So I got to do that. And so we moved the court date. My arraignment for the indictment about the window intimidation is July 7th. And that's also our hearing. So honestly, we have not been to court with this since the motion to dismiss thing happened. So we got to deal with that. And so what we're going to do next is we're going to go after the Lindsay indictment because we went after the McAlbert one. We did a motion to dismiss with that. We got 6 counts knocked off. And now we're going to knock off hers. We're just going to start knocking these off one by one because we're fresh off the victory with her, feeling that momentum. So that's, but honestly, I've dreamed about the day that Karen Reed is found not guilty. I mean, I think about it all the time. I've been working about this for 2.5 years. I've unfortunately had to go to the dark space of thinking about a conviction and how I would handle that. I'm no longer thinking about that at all after what happened in court today, because the jury clearly has made it clear that they are not thinking about that either. So I'm only thinking about the worst case. There could still be a mistrial if somehow this fucking OUI thing doesn't get figured out, and they hang on that, and then they hang the whole fucking thing because they don't realize like that could happen again if they don't.
Right.
Whatever. But I don't think that. I think they'll come to a conclusion on the OUI, and we'll get the fuck out of here. I don't care what they do, convict. Obviously, I would prefer acquit, but whatever. So, but I dream about the day that she's acquitted, and you know, I'm so grateful, obviously, to be in the courtroom. I'm sorry that you're not. I wish you could be. I wish Ted could be. It's not fair that fucking News Nation's in there and these other bullshit people are in there, but you're not bullshit. But like, I would love, you know, I can't to be able to just go up to Alan Jackson and David Yannetti and shake their hand or hug them or whatever, and Bill and Janet Reed. These aren't just people who I've been covering. You know, these are people who I have, you know, somewhat befriended some of these people. You know what I mean? Like, especially Karen. And her parents, so like, and her brother, her whole family, you know, like we've been seeing each other for 2.5 years now. We've been working towards a common cause here, and that's justice for John O'Keefe and Karen Reed together. And my part is reporting. My part is coming on and spreading the truth and spreading awareness and helping to fundraise and all that shit. That's been my role in this, and their role is you know, doing the work in court. And that's, so we've been working towards this common goal. So it's going to be like, I don't know, man, it's just going to be the awesomest feeling. And like anytime I've been coming out of the courthouse lately, it's like a stadium, you know, with the stairs across the street. It's like you're walking into a fucking stadium, and everybody sees you immediately, and they're no longer going to be quiet. Like there's no way people are going to be able to be quiet after a fucking acquittal, you know? So it's going to be dope. It's going to be dope.
Do you like envision yourself, she's acquitted, we're months down the road, it's like the end of, like, are you going to be able to like go out to dinner with her, sit down with her, talk with her, like have a drink with her? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you envision like that type of a relationship?
I'm sure we'll both be busy. As friends, I'm sure we can meet up here and there, but I'm sure she'll be very busy and high demand too. I do have a major announcement coming after Karen Reed's acquittal about something I've been invited to. And it's kind of a big announcement that I'll be making after she's acquitted. And she may be part of that as well, but we'll leave it at that for now. It could be a very big announcement about what we're going to do with that. So I think Karen Reed and I will be tied for life, right? We have like a bond when it comes. I mean, we're both. I picked up charges when I got arrested. I mean, I became a much bigger part of this. This became more than just my job. This became me fighting for my life when that happened. And sometimes I have conversations with her, and she's the only person that can understand what I'm going through. Because when you're on bail, like the only person that can really understand you is somebody else who's on bail. You know what I mean? Who's living life like that. And so her and I, and sometimes we vent about fucking like the legal system, the lawyers, like everything we talk about. And she's always telling me to like she's like, with Bradel, she's like you have to fucking advocate, even with your own lawyer. You have to advocate for yourself. You have to like demand, like you're paying him money. Like you need to meet with him once a week, and you need to go over this. And like, because when Bradel first came on, he didn't know the case very well, right? And the first time in court, like he stumbled. It wasn't a good start. And she's like, no, she's like, you're paying him. You can demand things from him. Like you can, and he's gotten to know it a lot better. Now he knows the case, inside and out. And it's like, she's like, I was the same way with David. Like when I first came on, like I knew it better than he did. Nobody knows your case better than you do. So we're really similar in that regard, in that we're both like anal retentive and like kind of control freaks who want to know every aspect of our case. We're not like passive defendants. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
I think everybody's like rooting for you to be friends without the pressure of a case, or without the pressure of these charges, yours and hers. Like, I think a lot of people are thinking about post-trial, both of you lives, you know what I mean? And have this vision of you guys being friends with and moving past it and it being over. And like you said, the bond that you guys have, I mean, how can you not be connected forever? But I think people are really rooting for a friendship that they get to see in a different way without this stress of trial. I know I am.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'm hoping for, is we see that from you guys, you know?
Mm-hmm. And I think we will. I've never gotten to know Karen Read outside of, I've never known Karen Read not under indictment. You know what I mean? And you don't really know a person until then. And it's just a different kind of relationship, because it's not a real friendship in that, like, I can't, with a friend, like a real friend, I can bug you about shit. I can be like, why didn't you call me back? You know what I mean? If the person is not calling you back, if the person's ignoring you, if some shit like that happens. With Karen, it's like you always have to give her a leeway, because, or she gets stressed a lot. Like she's very stressed individual. Because, and I constantly have to remind myself that, like, if she's ever comes across as rude, if she ever comes across as abrasive or anything like that, it's because of the pressure she's under. I've never met the real Karen Read. I will when this is over, and I'm looking forward to getting to know that person. You know what I mean?
I think you sum that up. That's what we're talking about. I think is, you know, without all of these other things, who you are and who she is. Will you guys be friends? I think everybody is wondering, will you be friends?
Yeah, why the fuck not? You know, as good as friends you can be. I mean, it's like, she's going to be busy. I'm going to be busy. I don't really have time to hang out with anyone. Like, I don't do anything besides work and take care of my kids and shit. Like, so, but yeah, I mean, as good as friends we can be, you know, I will always have a long-term bond, of course, with Karen Read. Just story has changed my life. It is jump-started, obviously, my career. I mean, I had a career before this, but now it's obviously exponentially grown. You know, I look forward to seeing what happens.
No regrets? No regrets?
I mean, some regrets. I wish I didn't go to jail. I wish I didn't go to Lindsay's house that night. I regret that deeply. That sucked. I regret ever meeting her or even responding to her Facebook message. I regret everything involving her, clearly. And, you know, if I don't regret the rolling rally, because there was nothing illegal about it. Like, nothing I did was, so I can't even say that I regret doing that. I do regret giving them like freebies with me. Like, there's sometimes when they take the clips that I say, like the Tully rant, like, even though I'm allowed to say that, I gave them a free opportunity to try to send me to jail. I regret the window intimidation, because I gave, what did I gain from that? Other than, like, I just gave him a free shot at sending me to jail. You know, like, why I didn't do that. Like, I could have just not gone to Canton. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes when they play the clips of me in court and I'm like, yeah, I wish I didn't go, like, even though I'm allowed to say these things, they're making me sound like a bad person, even though none of this stuff is illegal. It just makes me sound like a douchebag sometimes. So I'm like, I'm giving them these freebies sometimes that, of course, I never saw this coming, that I would be fucking indicted for a YouTube show. So I gotta do, you know.
I think you evolve. I mean, I think you evolve. Like, you've got these things under your belt and you go, well, you know, this happened, and it's how you change behavior. You know what I mean? So I think, for me, watching you, I think you've changed. You know what I mean? You're saying that now. What is?
I just thought, stop it. Be appropriate. Be appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, the Lindsay stuff. That was such a win, such a great moment.
Oh yeah, the other day when I beat her in court.
Can't believe it. I'll never forget it.
Yeah,
and the culmination of it, and the amount of time it took to get to that, and her testimony. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's surreal to me. I kept saying, you know, like, people, I don't know, mainstream media didn't send anybody over there. WBZ sent somebody over, I think, on like the second day or the third day, like at the end or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know how you can't want to see this story. You know what I mean? Like, the way, all of it, it's just so important. In the overall picture of corruption, government corruption, overreach, misuse of court orders, and all of those things. It's such a big story. It's I don't know. It's crazy to me.
The government aligning themselves with somebody like 𝗫𝗏𝗄𝗃 𝗃𝗏𝗃 is just outrageous. Like, because she is white trash. Like, she's somebody with such a long.
They do it more, I think, than we've ever given. It is unlocked like a thing for me where it's like they have no shame. They don't care. I mean, think about it. They use informants all the time, right? For cases and things like that. Like it's not like uncommon. They don't care. If their objective is a certain thing, they'll make a square peg fit in a round hole, however they have to do it. But with her, it's just, I don't know. The whole thing was such a win. It's crazy to me.
I love beating her in court more than anyone because she put me in jail on a fucking lie. And I loved getting the restraining order amended. I loved not getting my bail revoked when she tried that stunt. I loved getting the restraining order thrown out. That was like one of the biggest because fuck you, you don't fear him. Fuck you. And then I loved beating her with this bullshit charge. She considers these court dates. I swear to God, she's so sick that like
don't say it. I know what you're gonna say.
These are dates. Like she's like, I have a date with Aidan, like in court, like, and I get to be. That's it. Like this is as romantic as it gets. It's like court, like this part of the courtship process with her is like going to civil court, order hearing, having a charge. Like it's all part of the courtship process because this is what she's known in relationships her whole life. And I don't know if you heard the news. But she's back with Frankie, and apparently on Father's Day, she called. This is the text I got from a source. Okay, let me find it. Real quick. So this is
what?
So 𝗫𝗏𝗄𝗃 called the cops on Frankie on Father's Day, and the neighbors called about them screaming. A friend heard it on the scanner, and he's on the run. She lives in Norwood again. And I'm like, what? And she's living with her. So he went back to her. And she goes, I don't know if they were living together. She lives in the Norwest Woods apartment complex. Someone called me today and heard all the calls for the cops on their police scanner. The police scanner said that Frank Keegan was on the run and they got 2 calls, one from the neighbor and 𝗫𝗏𝗄𝗃 called. So those poor kids are living through this mess and them screaming still. And I said, oh my God, on Father's Day? She said, yep, they are both assholes. Frankie will be in jail for a long time. Those kids will remember this Father's Day, and they had to switch schools once again, which is actually pretty sad. I mean, those kids are constantly switching schools because they're constantly moving from town to town after getting kicked out of one apartment, you know, moving to Walpole or moving to fucking all across Norfolk County. I mean, she had a really, really fucking nice apartment in Medfield. That it cost, I think, $4,200 a month to live there, and the government gave her $3,700 a month. All she had to pay was $500 a month to live there. It was a luxury apartment. Like when I went over there the first time, I'm like, oh, this is nice. I didn't know shit about her. I'm like, well, I guess this chick's got her shit together. It turns out she's just an expert at government leeching, and you know, so yeah. So Frankie's on the run. And it's just interesting that happens 3 days after the acquittal, that she's literally, what do we accuse her of at trial? Is seeking men out who she has restraining orders on and then getting them violated after the fact when she gets mad. And that's what happened here.
I need more information on this. I need more information. I need to know what's happening. That is a plot twist I did not expect at all, actually.
Yeah, we got to get Haley. Haley can maybe get the records on that. We'll see. Now that she's a Norwood resident, but she was given a really nice thing, that Medfield apartment, and then just couldn't handle it. Ratchets like that can't handle nice things, and they overstay their welcome, and they get kicked out. Even, you know how hard it is to get kicked out with 4 fucking kids? You know what I mean? Like that's hard. Right. And in a class of baby, like what are you gonna do?
Right.
So apparently now they're living in some shit bomb apartment in Norway. Those poor fucking kids. That's all I think about, those poor kids, but. Not my problem, I guess. Can't think like that.
Nope. You know? I know.
Well, all right. Well, anyway, Jess, I'm going to let you go if you don't mind, just so I can read these turtle chats and end the night.
Yeah.
But thank you so much
for
joining me tonight.
Thanks for everything. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. We'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow morning. Go to bed. I don't know how you're up this late. I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, go to bed. Well, I'll be good. Bye-bye.
See you tomorrow.
All right, so let me read some turtle chats now. If you haven't got your turtle chats in, now's your chance. I'm going to hit the refresh button here. You can also cash at me at $Uncle and we can do it that way. Okay. All right. Today is the 17th, I believe. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, Bukkaki's Smelly Socks sends $5 and goes, Doc, your prediction of an 11 o'clock not guilty verdict was pretty much dead on balls. Just a bit of cleanup left now. Also by 11 tomorrow, celebrated in your honor with a ham sandwich. I mean, you're right. I mean, Benzo Bob there was accusing me of like being, involved in this. But as it turns out, it was pretty close to an acquittal at 11. Like they were in the acquittal mindset at that point. So they acquitted on the important shit. Exploding Asshole Disease sends $10 and goes, I say this from the bottom of my heart. I sincerely hope Beverly Cannoni gets Lou Gehrig's disease and suffers every day for the rest of her tyrant life. Now, that's pretty specific. P.S. I really like that yellow shirt you wore to court yesterday. That is a very nice color on you. Well, thank you. I'll have to wear yellow more often. So thank you for that. Nicole sends $5 and goes, I was thinking today, what if Spanky tried to jump on your cases after this one as a special prosecutor? Is he allowed to do that? Could you fight it? Also, John had lost his mind. Anyway, jury is looking good. Tomorrow is the day. I think that's well within the realm of possibilities. That is one of the things Krusty apparently told the confidential informant that was something that Hank was discussing. So, I mean, because Cosgrove just isn't up for it, obviously. Like Hank is like their secret weapon that they bring in apparently when they, but he'd fail. He'd fail too. All he'd do is bring a higher profile to it. Dill Pickle sends $5, goes, Turtle, at this point, wouldn't you think these jurors have to know the mess the last jurors ended in? If there's 1 to 2 holdouts right now in OUI, why the fuck wouldn't the others just flip and all agree? What's the worst that happens? She's either acquitted of OUI or gets it. Better than ruining a perfect fucking trial. It's minimal damage either way. My thoughts exactly. Exactly, Dill Pickle. Just who gives a fuck? That'd be we're gonna fuck this whole thing up over an OUI. Who cares? Convict, don't convict, whatever. Who cares? Like, I don't know if the count is 9-3 in that room for guilty, then the 3 should just switch to fucking guilty. Who cares? Like, who cares? Who cares about that shit? If it's 9-3, I mean, who's holding this shit up? And that goes for the other way around too. If it's 9-3 for not guilty, the 3 should just switch. Who cares? Who cares about any of this shit? All right, next up. Bev's Beef Curtain sends $25, goes, thanks for all you do. We love you, Turtle Boy. Looking forward to hearing not guilty tomorrow. I think it's coming. Tomorrow's the day. Catherine sends $10, goes, Turtle, can you tell us newbies the story behind the intro song? I love it. Not much of a story. It's just the Higgins text messages from trial 1. There's the story. Vicky sends $10 and goes, Hank Brennan, mean mugging you has me living. Love to Jess. I know, it's great. And Jess was a great guest tonight. I'd like to have her on. Asser and Fish, and I never have guests, but tonight I was just like, you know what? Ain't that much new content tonight. So I'd like to have a different, set of ears to bang ideas off of on this. And I feel like we accomplished a lot. So thank you. Asser and Fish, my dude there, sends $10, goes, I have faith in this jury to either acquit on all charges or worst case convict on OUI, which will likely be also meaningless. Almost meaningless. The worst case is a hung jury on count 2. Exactly. And I think these jurors are smart enough to know better and have a general idea of the bullshit that happened in trial 1. Exactly. Sounded right? That sounds exactly right. Like, I do not think it's a coincidence that they came back with that 4th question with the exact question that Ronnie said that he wishes that they asked, that he wanted to ask. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think they wanted that on the record, and their answer was, I'm not telling you. So there's that. But I'm with you 100%. Fuck you, Cunty Bev. And by the way, I called Bev a cunt today on Twitter and like somebody responded like, I'm with you, but I don't like you calling her a cunt. It's like, oh, bitch, you got the wrong fucking guy. Guys, just leave. Just leave. If you think that you come here and you police the things that I say, you just got the wrong place. It's just wrong. You either have to accept me and the rough around the edges shit that comes along with the package. Like, you don't have to like the whole thing. You don't have to like everything about me. But if you can't fucking be like, well, this isn't a fucking buffet. You can't be like, well, I like all this aspects of you, but I don't like this, so I'm going to tell you not to do this. No, fuck you. You take the whole package. That part of it is I call people cunts because it's a great word. It just fucking is. It's a great word. And you know what? I'm thinking about bringing back fag too, because that's another great word, and that's not a shot at the homosexuals, okay? It's not. It's just a great word. It flows off the tongue. It's like retard and cunt, fag. These are great words, and I think they got a bad rap over time, and I think we should make them socially acceptable again. I'm just saying. So if you don't like the word cunt, boy, are you in the wrong place, because my response to her was, shut up, cunt. And then that got all types of people like, oh my God, other women are like, oh my God, that's so mean. Yes, I'm fucking mean. I'm very mean to my own followers and supporters, even people who've given me money. I'm horrible to them. Horrible. And that's just part of the package. It's also part of the charm. That's what you're not getting. You're not quite getting the whole Turtleboy appeal here. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get it. You're new here. You'll figure it out over time. It's nothing personal. I'll call you a cunt sometimes and we'll be friends again tomorrow. Boom. Next. Taylor sends $10, goes, what happened to the affidavit that was submitted that implicated 𝗟𝗟, that he bought the 4-person from last trial? Nothing. I mean, these are just an affidavit, you know, just putting on the record that this is what an agent of the Commonwealth is claiming, according to a sworn affidavit. Okay. Fuck you, cunty Bevin. I already read that. Yeah, fuck you, Cunty Bev sends $5. Goes, listen, Turtle, I know we all know the jury is not watching this, so we can talk about how the jury can try to write not guilty next to all the lesser includeds of count 2. Yes, they could. And you will not convince me for a second that none of those people on the jury are watching this shit. No fucking way. No way. Jesse sends $20, goes, Dr. Turtle, good evening from Alabama. I met more states today, by the way. I met Alabama and Mississippi today. I met Turtle Riders from both of those states. I get so excited when I meet a new state. I met North Carolina today. Were there any other new states? Texas. There was more Texas people today, more Florida people today. I've met some cheeseheads. I met some Minnesotans, some Michiganders. I met some more Pennsylvanians. I haven't met any Ohioans. If there's anyone from Ohio, I mean, that's probably the closest state that we haven't met people from. Delaware, but I don't even know if that's like a real state. I don't know if that counts. Like, is anyone from Delaware besides Joe Biden? I don't know. Maryland, I don't know. Either way, it met a lot of people. So thank you. But anyway, she's an actual graduate from the University of Alabama, Birmingham. Nice. I totally support you tossing any gifts people give you outside the courthouse. In the words of George Bush, just send your cash. It's true. People like that. People respected that rant yesterday about just like right in the trash. That's where it goes. And like, people know better now. They learn. Like, some people are like, I was going to give this to you, but now I'm not. Exactly. It's going right in the trash. Because honestly, I hate putting shit in my pockets, because every time I got to go through the metal detectors, it's just one more thing to take out. I fucking hate it. The only things I want to take out are my key fob, my phone, my sunglasses, and my belt. That's it. I don't want to put anything else in there. Okay? No more shit. Right in the trash. Next. David sends $10. Says, Doctor, what a shit show today was. Bev is a tool, literally, for Morrissey. Tomorrow is acquittal day. Free Karen Reed and free Turtleboy. Abso-fucking-lutely. Trooper Paul's School of Dance sends $5. Goes, I finally figured out where I know John DePietro from. I think he was on an episode of To Catch a Predator. He might have been. That's not confirmed. But Julie sends $10. Goes, listen, Turtle. Free Karen Reed, free Turtleboy. Love and hugs from Louisville, Kentucky. Medieval Moon. That's a new one. Kentucky. Nice to hear. Although Larry's from Kentucky. I don't know if he counts as meeting someone if he counts as a Kentucky person, but I do know him. All right, next up. Nelly sends, and Gene, a.k.a. the Wrecking Crew, sends $10, goes, listen, Turtle, we need a verdict ASAP. We are sisters in Spokane, Washington. That's home of Koberger. And we have wore our Bang Bang shirts since Friday, and we're wearing them until there's a verdict without washing them in protest of the dirty cops in this case. And we are ready for a not guilty, not guilty, not guilty, and clean shirts. Let's fuck. Absolutely. Nikki sends $10, goes, Turtle, they were probably looking at you because they read your article that was put into evidence. That's a great point. It was put into evidence. This mofo put, oh, that's too much. I can't believe they did that. Thanks, Spanky. Bev's a massive cunt, sends $10, goes, fuck Hank Phelps and Brian Albert's gay autistic son. Ouch. Yikes. Thank you. Danny sends $25 and has no comment. Yeah, Phelps got real quiet there. Phelps all of a sudden ain't talking so much. All I heard about was how the podcast 34 fear review was going to blow up during the second trial. I don't think it has. Kristen sends $25, goes, can someone please explain how the defense is able to add a lesser charge, especially so late in the trial? I see the strategy, but how is it possible? That's my question. Apparently you can just add charges. I didn't know that. Like, they should have added littering. You're definitely not going to jail for littering. I mean, Rich Schiffer got charged with littering, and this is the indictment. Okay, so she was indicted for, remember we did this thing on Tammy Purpley or whatever her name was? It turns out she was like from the biggest cop family ever. Okay, what was this indictment for? Did operate a motor vehicle. Yeah, so this one says, and did cause the death of another person. So that's manslaughter. DUI manslaughter, but not DUI. This one is did operate a motor vehicle and left and did go away after knowingly causing injury to John O'Keefe. So again, not DUI. Yeah, that's the indictments. That's one is murder. Second degree murder, second is manslaughter, and third is that. So yeah, you're right. There's nowhere on here do you see any sort of indictment about 5 o'clock or 12. You know, it's just, there's nothing on there, dude. There's nothing there. So thanks. Amanda sends $10, goes, have we seen a copy of the amended slip? I have not, but I'm sure it's out there. Angela sends $10, goes, regards to offense 2, number 5. So that's manslaughter number 5. I would write not guilty next to 2, 3, and 4, just so it's clear Bev didn't want the question. Well, I think that's the logical thing to do. I would just do the same thing. 2, 3, and 4, not guilty, because they're worried about checking the first box, which is not guilty for the entire thing. You can't do 1 and 5. You can't do that. You could do 2, 3, 4, and 5, I suppose. But you can't do 1 and 5 because 1 is not guilty and 5 is guilty of OUI. And 1 says not guilty of all the charges on this page. I mean, how fucking confusing is this? It's insane. Thank you. Randy from Shrewsbury sends $5 and goes, if there's any good in this world, tomorrow morning we will see 12 human beings give a fellow human being a fresh start in life. What a great way to phrase that, Randy from Shrewsbury. You should host a party for Karen in Worcester and the DJ can play Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt on repeat. Something epic. Yeah, we should blast. Was Reasonable Doubt, wasn't that an album though? Reasonable Doubt. And by the way, the poll, 52% of people say I should exit before the Reed team. So we're almost evenly divided on that one. Thanks. All right. This one is for Gwen. Sends $25 and goes, hey, Turtleboy, question. What if the jurors wrote on charge 2 verdict from the next charge 1, not guilty, and signed next to it? And then you ask for the same thing for the other ones. Exactly. That's what I would do if I was a jury. I think that's a good idea. You guys are starting to think logically. Think logically. I like it. Angela sends $10 and goes, no, I already read the one about, I think she said, in regard to defense number 2. Yeah, rating not guilty. Laura sends $5 and goes, source gave me the real juror questions. Number 1, are you a cunt? Number 2, why are you a cunt? And number 3, will you stop being a cunt? We're on to you, Bev. Excellent. Laura sends $10 and goes, when was straight OUI added as a charge? I don't remember it being a charge last year. It wasn't. You can just add charges. Apparently, you can do that. You can just add a charge if you like, just as like a distraction, as like, hey, pick me. That's kind of what they did. And they did pick that one, and now they're stuck on that one, and it might fuck the whole thing up. So that was not a smart decision, I don't think. So thank you. Erica sends $25 and goes, what will be the first thing you do when the verdict comes back not guilty? So the first thing I will do is, now the O'Keefes are in front of me. So I don't know. It depends what they do. If they get up and leave, I obviously don't want to bump into any of them. And it's a small courtroom. And I would like to think that one of the things I'm going to want to do is just head right over to the Reed team and start hugging mofos. That's what I'm going to start doing. Hugging mofos. Straight up hugging them. It's going to be dope. That's your answer right there. Thank you, Erica. Kayla sends $25 and goes, it was great quickly meeting you last Friday. Fuck Brennan and Auntie Bev. Free Karen Reed, and let's see that not guilty verdict tomorrow. I'm with you guys, baby. I'm with you. I'm digging the not guilty tomorrow. Lisa sends $10, goes, love both of you. Thank you for putting nails in the coffin to the mainstream media. We wouldn't be here without you, Aidan, and thank you, Jess, for all you do, doing God's work, exposing corruption. Free Karen Reed. Yeah, Jess is a real gem, isn't she? She's great. We loved having her on. That was awesome. Claire Mama G sends $10, goes, hey, Unc. It's a long one. I've been following you for many years. Thank you for everything you do. You don't need to read the entire thing, but I am 3/4 deaf. Okay. I ask for you to help me and others in closed captioning by doing the following. Here's how you can turn on live automatic captions in English only. Go to YouTube. I'm going to screenshot this and I'm going to send it to, I'm just going to screenshot it for later. So thank you, Claire. And I will look up on that. So, cause we want to, we don't want to leave our the deaf turtle riders behind, 3/4 deaf, 100% deaf, all you, fresh to deaf, all you. We need you here. Okay. Next up, Matthew sends $10, goes, here's a song that was created based on Brian Higgins and Karen Reed's text messages. Okay, thank you. We'll listen to that later. Thank you. Kelly sends $5 and goes, I'm still worried. Counts section 2, 3, and 4 involve OUI. All 3 do involve OUI. Manslaughter includes an element of intent in involuntary manslaughter. So yes, section 5 is the standalone OUI, but the other sections contain an OUI element. Just the defense attorney and me hoping you and all the other commentators, as I've read, are right and worrying about nothing. But that's the whole point, Kelly, is like they've clearly made it obvious that like we don't want anything that involves her hitting him with the car. We're considering an OUI. We're actually torn on that one, but we want to be very careful not to check that box. So this jury is very cognizant of that. So thank you. Mia sends $25 and goes, yay, 2 journalists. Hi, Jess. And thank you, Dr. Turtleboy. My pleasure. Shannon Welcher sends $10, goes, Doctor, the trolls are amping up the violent rhetoric. Boundless map, what's Doherty there, suggested maybe the court fan will fall on Karen. Well, he wishes. It's not going to happen. Slippin' Jimmy sends $10, goes, the all-powerful Turtle. It's possible that the jury is going through the charges in order, and after working all the way through count 2, they've moved on to count 3. This would explain the lack of a verdict today. What? After working, they've moved on to court 3. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're like, nah, I don't think, but they said they'd already hung on. They'd already acquitted on 2. So thank you. Not guilty tomorrow. Ash sends $5, goes, the jury got 1245 from the lab with the retrograde extrapolation. The lab witness testified that that was the time provided from the cops to use for Karen's last drink. I did not know that. See, that's interesting. That's interesting. Oh, was that guy? I forget that guy's name. Andre, was he the one? Was Andre, or was he the DNA guy? There was the guy that did the blood test thing. I forget his name or her name, whoever she was. Yeah, we'll see. Okay. Carrie sends $10 and goes, something is off, very off about that fourth question. She presented it last and separate, and please replay her asking counsel about it because she said she's going to write her answer to the jury. I'm nervous about that. Free Karen Reid from Toronto. Nice. Toronto writers. The second T is silent in Toronto. Okay, thank you. I don't know what the answer to that is, but thank you. All right, next up, we got a few more here. Okay, Julie sends $25 and goes, thanks for all you do. We love you. And I love you too, Julie. Thanks. Jess and Jen Kelly send $10 and goes, the Callie twins here. You asked about walking out with the Reed family or before. You were the reason this whole movement started. You have to come out by yourself so we can all celebrate with you. And you've accomplished before the Karen Reed team comes out. Then we can focus on Karen and her team. I love you. Shout out to Karen for Zacco. Yes, that is what I'm going to do, Callie twins. I think I'm going to respect the poll and come out by myself at first and then enjoy the curtain call with the stars of the show, the Reed team. Okay. Rosaline sends $25, goes, Dr. Turtleboy, I hope someone is keeping an eye on the three musketeers, Uri, Tully, and Fanning, to ensure they are staying away from the jury. Didn't like Uri lurking about on Friday. Lurking is a good word for him. That's what he was doing Friday. Also, after the not guilty verdict, I hope this jury speaks out more, especially about how confusing the jury slips were. So Bev hears it loud and clear tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day. XOXOXO. Yes, it is. Steph sends $10, goes, excellent show tonight. I absolutely adore Jess, and you two have great conversation. One of my favorite shows yet. Tomorrow is the day. I can feel it. Free Karen Reed and free Turtleboy. I love how many people are saying that in their Turtle chats tonight, that tomorrow is the day. And because I'm just digging the positivity. I'm digging it, baby. Next up, Cheryl sends $10, goes, cunt is the best word, and make queer great again. Fuck the alphabet soup. And number 3, it was an honor to meet you today. Thank you for the time you had this old dyke tongue-tied, you sexy beast. Free Karen Reed and free the turtle Prius. Thank you, Dyke. I appreciate that, Cheryl. It's very sweet of you. Pete S. sends $5 and goes, any update on whether Meredith had any luck getting that T-shirt that I put Karen Reed on with a bunch of faces of actors in the trial, including the one of you? We took a selfie together. Oh, yes, I remember you, sir. I don't know. I'll find out, though. Thank you, Pete S. Next one. Woohoo Worldwide Oak sends $10 and says, do you think the jury meant are the video clips the only thing we should consider as evidence? No, I don't think that's what they're saying. Kerry from TO sends $10, goes, something's very off about the fourth question. Bev presented it separately and said, how should I already read this one? All right, thank you. Lynn sends $10, goes, who were you talking about last night when you said you wanted him to die from his asshole exploding? Oh, geez, who was that? There's so many people I would like to see die from their asshole exploding. Oh, it was the guy on Court TV. Domingo, what was his name? Gomez? Suarez, whatever, Domingo Suarez, whatever his name is. Former NYPD cop. I'm a former cop. And I would love to see them put the cuffs, John's cuffs on Karen as she goes to prison. Yeah, well, that's not going to happen. And I hope your asshole explodes and you die from it. Fucking loser. All right, next up. Let's see. Okay. Alicia sends $25 and goes, hello from down under, some Turtle Ruse. I would love to see you walk out first. Build the energy. Exactly. You got to build the energy. You got to build the energy, baby. In the hype, in the crowd of supporters before the rest of the defense team. Continue to lead the way until the end. Let the masses show their respect and appreciation of you being the voice of the masses when so many stay silent, feel proud despite the cost, and have your moment well earned. Cheers, Aidan. I hope they allow Karen's team not to just go right into the fucking car and just talk to the media. They should allow her to cross the street and go through her crowd of supporters and just enjoy it because she earned it. She earned it. Next up, Dr. Turtle's biggest fan from Pittsburgh. Nice. Love the Berg. Sends $10 and goes, thanks for everything you do. I hope the jury sees Bev's lack of answer as more bias that she's again showing towards Karen in the defense. Fuck Bev and Spanky. I hope the jury hates her. And they're just like, oh yeah, well then not guilty because you like the prosecution. So we're going to vote not guilty out of spite. That would be cool. Kelly sends $10 and goes, Brother Counsel had his brother Solomon on today, who I love. I love Solomon Radner. That guy is based. That guy is based. I love Solomon Radner. He's awesome. Who is a civil rights attorney and made it clear that anyone on X or in a video who have called Karen a murderer should lawyer up when she's acquitted. I sent the screen grab to your ex. Yeah, I mean, they should, but that would require Karen Reed filing a civil defamation lawsuit. And even then, I don't think it would go anywhere because, like, it's really hard to sue people for defamation successfully. And they would just argue you were charged with murder. So it's understandable to call you a murderer. You know what I mean? Like, if everyone who called O.J. Simpson a murderer was able to get sued, not that she's O.J. Simpson, but O.J. Simpson was acquitted of murder, then, you know what I mean? It's, I don't know, it's what it is. Thanks. Okay. Tish Smith sends $10, goes, get a fundraiser going to buy the house next door to the McCabe's, and let's all go make them miserable and No, I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. I'm not reading the rest of that. You guys can't send turtle chats to like encourage harassment of people I'm charged with intimidating. You can't do that. I'm keeping your money. I'm not giving you a refund. But again, I'm the one that has to read it, and I'm the one on bail, and they'll just take that shit and run it. So no, next time I'm actually going to read the turtle chat to myself silently before I read it. But you cannot send turtle chats where you encourage like blatant harassment of witnesses, right? And then get me to say it. Like, no, we're not doing that. So thank you very much for that, for the $10. Let's see. Maurice Savage sends $5, goes, Turtleboy. Today didn't go how we all wanted, but great seeing so many people showing up to support Karen, and don't ever deter for using the word cunt because, like you, it's my favorite word. Cunt is the best word to describe Bev. It's actually too good for her. It's very accurate too. Exactly. Rosaline sends $5, goes, Turtleboy, you have to see Bettero cracking up while watching Baby Bettero from Trial Babies. Also, Blair, Mel, and Kim and Jimmy watching themselves is pretty funny. I did show that. I did watch that earlier, and it's pretty funny. It's pretty. Baby Bettero is pretty funny. All those babies are funny. All the babies are funny. Okay. Let me just refresh this, then I'll get to the Cash Apps. OG Danielle Baker sends 25 and goes, great show as always. Just as a gem. Probably see you tomorrow. Can you say Judd again? Kills me every time. Can I say Judd again? Judd. Judd the Chud? Or just Judd? Thank you very much. Okay, next up. Aaron sends $50 and goes, thank you and congrats, 𝗵𝗫. Love everyone in Charlestown. So Brad Marchand won the Conn Smythe, I'm told. The Panthers won their back-to-back Stanley Cups tonight, which is pretty hard. I mean, the Bruins jump-started that. If this is a dynasty, the Bruins are kind of responsible for it because we had the best record ever in hockey. We set the points record 2 years ago. People forget about this. We're up 3-1 on them, the Panthers, the 8th seed, and then lost. He's lost. And then somehow they made it all the way to the Stanley Cup, and then they lost in the finals to Colorado. Who the fuck did they lose to? Somebody else in the chat, I remember. Oh, the Golden Knights. They lost to the Golden Knights. And they've won the East 3 years in a row now, but then they've won 2 cups, and they beat Edmonton, a real hockey city, 2 years in a row. And yeah, Brad Marchand, I mean, I'm happy for him that he got another cup. He had the opportunity to win 2 more here, which we blew. Especially against St. Louis. I don't know how the fuck we blew that one. I mean, Chicago, they were pretty good. We lost that one 4-2, but I don't know how the fuck they were, whatever. But congratulations to Brad Marchand. I was rooting for the Oilers. It wasn't meant to be. And there you go. All right, next up, Adam sends $5 and goes, the jury should avoid all confusion and acquit her of all charges. OUI be damned. Exactly. We don't want Karen to get screwed by Auntie. That's what I say. I hope they just say, well, fuck this cunt then, not Karen, Bev. Let's just acquit her, this bitch, and go home. They're ready. I'm telling you, they're ready. They don't want to be there anymore. They don't want it. They don't want the ham sandwich anymore. They're good. They want to go home. Turtle Girl XX sends $10 and goes, I thought if the jurors were the sub charge of number 5, but don't want to check guilty, they're supposed to simply not check it. That was said by Bev last year when Unetti said, how are they supposed to check not guilty if there's no box to check? No, but they're saying if they're hung on that. They're asking if we're hung or if we convict on number 5, they said, does that, I don't think you're understanding the question. So thank you very much. $10 from David that says, why was Shrek Paul O'Keefe allowed to sit back where you could stare down Karen? Fuck, cunty, Bev. We'll have more to say about Paul when this trial's over. Trust me, there's a story behind that. Dirk G sends $25, goes, I wonder if you could give a very brief and concise recreation of how John was killed. I will not be doing that, but thank you for the $25, Dirk. I appreciate the $25. I don't know what to say about that. Thank you. Carrie sends $5 and writes this whole fucking thing. Okay. Doctor, I'll give it a sentence. If it's going nowhere, I'm just going to stop though. Dr. T, I feel you with having to deal with your own court BS, but I'm so grateful for what you do and Karen Reed in your live show. I'm going through my own shit with court with some douchebags. Okay. Done with that one. Thanks, Carrie, for the $5. Danica sends $5 and goes, have Lucky pick Karen up in fracking truck. No offense to you, Carrie, but nobody for $5, I don't give a shit about your problems. And my audience certainly doesn't give a shit about your problems, but I appreciate the $5. Maybe for $100, people would care, but I can't. It's just this. It's not the Carrie show. You know what I mean? It's Turtleboy live show. We're here to talk about Karen Reed and my problems, and we can't just talk about everyone's problems for $5. Can't do it. Sorry. Next up, Danica Peters sends $5 and goes, have a Lucky pick Karen up in Franken truck. Wouldn't that be nice? They wouldn't miss anything on the way. That's for sure. They wouldn't miss anything. Okay, let me read some turtle chats now to end the night. I mean, some cash apps. Again, this is the Turtleboy live show. I roast my own people. I roast them all. You know the rules. You know the rules, folks. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. Christina sends $5 and goes, did you notice Auntie Bev was nervous? I didn't notice that at all. But thank you for the $5. Melissa sends $5 and goes, note cards equals subliminal message. Could have been paper. Okay. And she says, okay, note cards. I don't know what that means. Okay. Thank you. Jennifer sends $5, goes, not guilty 100% tomorrow. I like it. I'm with you on that one. Alma sends $20 and goes, Jackson pushing back on Bev. Hope he keeps it up. Yes, he did. He's not putting up with this shit anymore. He's had enough of her. Maggie sends $5 and goes, we are coming to see you tomorrow in Free Karen Reed. Well, I look forward to seeing you there, Maggie. And then she asks where the verdict party will be. I don't know. Stay tuned. We're definitely not having, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Elbro sends $10 and goes, were you explain to me why? Okay, that's definitely not English, but thank you for the $10. Melissa sends $5 and goes, the questions were on not cards. Closing note cards. Okay. Charity sends $10 and goes, have your own moment. You deserve it. I think I'm going to have my own moment, Charity. I've decided. Okay, cool. Let me just see if we're missing anything here. Any turtle chats? Okay, we're good. All right, guys. Time for bed. Big day tomorrow. Tomorrow's the day we free Karen Reed. It's official. All right. June 18th, 2025. It's going down in history. Almost 3 years to the day after she's indicted. It's just going to happen, baby. It's meant to be. So you guys rest up. We'll see you tomorrow in Dedham. Get your ass to Dedham. History is going to be made in the morning, 11 o'clock. I'm calling it right now. Get your ass to Dedham. Peace to your bum crease, everyone. And brush your teeth.
It calls for data including calendars, alerts, reminders, notes, text messages, pictures, or videos from April 1st, 2023 through and including October 5th, 2023. 7 months